Hear us.
Can you hear us?
First.
Let's just wait for a while.
Yeah, everyone.
Delay people to come in.
Wait, hold on. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear us?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes. Nice.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
we can carry on
really
now.
Load off. Okay. So, hi. Welcome to our Dreams Creator Beta Stream 4. We're going to be showing you some awesome stuff. Plus, the reason that we have Steve and Tom here, other Tom, so many Toms, is because they're going to show us some awesome stuff that they've been making in the beta. So, very exciting. We have a bunch of people who say that they haven't gotten beta codes. We have identified a group of those people with Sony, and we are working towards a solution to fix that. That said, we have also gotten a lot of people who've written us about beta codes who've then found it in their inbox or their spam mail or their promotions folder. So please do check those. Apparently, you can search the word Dreamiverse.
Yeah, Dreamiverse is
that is the
finding
easiest way to find missing codes.
Because that is the most unique word that is in there.
So we have people that have had them for 5 days and haven't found them and that kind of stuff. So just please check. And that said, we are looking to find a way to help the small group that we did identify that didn't get them out of the EU batch. We will have updates. Tom is on the case. Yes. All right. So that said, we are going to kick off the stream with Tom's game.
Cool.
Tom, tell us about your game.
Oh, hi.
Tom.
Okay, so I made a little old school game, kind of an old school game, but with a modern twist. And here it is. It's called Planetoid Pandemonium. So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so here we go. We've got two controls, twin stick shooter, basically. Your little left stick, whee, and your right stick, bill.
I love your sound effects.
Yeah, thanks. So let's give it a play. Unless somebody else wants to play.
No, you play.
Which old game is this inspired by?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure.
Just a general vibe.
It's just somewhere where you kind of
I had played this one. I didn't realise that was you.
Destroy stuff.
I'd say it's like asteroids. You just kind of the novel way to make things wrap around the screen. Go into that a little bit.
I think one of the things people enjoy the most about these is uncovering which molecules are in the beta.
Yeah, because now you've been revealed.
Now you know.
You're going to get stalked now.
So we're just going to keep hammering away at these until...
What's actually going on there? Are you... All those bits that get created, are they sticking on like a...
Oh, see, that's what we're doing next. We're going to show you how he did it.
I'll show you all. I'll just, carry on playing this for a while until I die.
I mean, I hope you have the high score in your own game.
Actually, I don't.
You don't.
I think I'm the third. But that's okay.
Disappointing.
I can't beat it either.
It's kind of like a cross between Asteroids and an old Commodore 64 game called Mega Apocalypse, I'd say.
I was going to say Super Stardust, but there you go, yeah.
Well,
That's really cool.
So, did the chat enjoy your pew action?
Pew 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 pew. Thanks, guys.
So the biggest question for yours was how did you make everything rotate?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So a few people have asked me in the comments, so I thought I'll show you. So we'll give that a quit. I'm not going to like my own.
Yeah, you can if you want.
You should. I mean, it's a like from the Dream Queen.
I'll let everybody else give it a like.
Fine.
So what I'm going to do is just pop into genealogy and find the actual scene. There we go, we can pop in here. And the thing to remember is I'm not moving the camera or the spaceship, I'm moving everything else in the world.
That seems like the hard way of doing it, Tom.
Maybe. I mean, it was interesting to do.
Tom was really excited to show what he'd done, and then you just pop in and are like, wow.
Yeah, God.
Why did you do like that? You fool. So what I've done is I've grouped this kind of big planetoid moon type thing and all these stars and then these background planetoids as well, and they're all in one big group, so you can kind of
Nauseating,
yes. Just pop that back, and then I've got this microchip over here attached to the whole group, and then we've got a controller sensor, and essentially it's just letting you rotate the whole group.
Actually, looking at that, that's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple.
You retract your
impressed.
criticism?
I retract it entirely.
Yes.
Well done.
Thanks, John. That's.
Can we see it? Can we see it in action from this point of view, so people can understand the?
Yes. In fact, I could turn on the invisible things just to make it even more confusing, if you like. So let's do that. Oh, it's begun.
That's the bit that I was curious.
Okay, so
That's how you get your asteroids to move around the surface of the planet.
yes. So here's like a bunch of asteroids, and they've all
Are there followers on
they've got
those things?
followers, and they're following tags on. Oh, there you can see these
I
these
see.
tags.
Nice.
So what happens is, if I just stop that, because I need to show you how they get spawned, you come out of here. So they all get emitted from this emitter here, which is on a little rotating disc.
Good naming as well.
That's to randomise the position of it.
And that is to randomise kind of roughly where they pop out.
Yes.
And then if we start, you can see one pop out, and whoop, there you go. It's just immediately jumps to the nearest tag.
See, they hitch a ride.
They hitch a ride, and then these guys all kind of rotate independently.
Yeah. I get it now.
So
The magic
kind of.
has been crushed.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry everybody.
Sorry, Alex Evans, walk in here and ask your question to the microphone.
Okay, I've got a question to Tom.
With these splitters.
What are those splitters for? Hello.
Well, this is totally unnecessary, but I thought it was quite an interesting pattern, maybe.
Nice.
I can see why you've got the first one to separate out the X and Y.
Yeah.
But
and
then what you
and then I'm
you're
switching them round. So left is right, right is left, up is down, down is up. And then plugging into the
But why
advanced
not?
rotator.
Why not just use
Hang
a
on,
signal remapper?
I don't need to do any of that because
We didn't bring you on the stream just to like shame you for the first 5 minutes.
that's
Gadget
absolutely
shaming, Tom.
fine. Go for it. Shame me. You don't need any of that actually. All you need to do is set this to a negative value,
Yeah.
and then you can plug them directly in from the controller sensor.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
To the
But you
rotator.
Even better than Alex's
Yeah,
idea.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, but then
Now
why
you
not
should be
use that?
ashamed.
Yeah, boo, Alex, boo. Get out of
Alex
here.
Evans, boo.
I wanted to show the world just an interesting thing. Whatever.
Okay, I get it.
Very cool.
That's
Tom.
it.
Very
That's
cool.
it. Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Let's run away.
All right, Steve, you're up.
Back.
What did you bring us?
It's kind of a character prototype I've started. Let's go ahead and show.
Captain Shadow.
Yeah, it's based on my girlfriend's pug called Shadow. So, yeah. So it kind of looks like this anyway.
So cute. I love the name tag.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I'll show you this before we start. So I've got some simple idols. Kind of does like the head that kind of dogs do. And if you kind of leave it a bit longer, I'll show you. It will only take a couple of seconds when he gets bored.
Love his eyes.
He never gets bored.
So,
What's he going to do? Get asleep?
yeah, if you. There
Oh.
it is. So
Oh,
it's so cute.
it's kind of setting up kind of like a standard character. So
Oh, he's
kind of
supposed to
go through
Nice.
So
Good use of the text display there for the little.
Oh, so
using
cute.
those and, just want to try something quick. It's always nicer when you run it as to yeah, so it's kind of just made like just simple collectibles, but then I was going through just kind of movement sets. So also I'll show you this before. It's kind of got idols, a bit like Sackboy, where you press it up and it'll do
Oh.
Oh, the
kind of
expressions.
happy, yeah, kind of expression emote kind of thing, and then it's like the scared one, and kind of angry,
It's great.
and kind of sad, and kind of made just the arms kind of move.
Oh.
So it's like, yay.
So
It's so
adorable.
I
adorable.
love that you get a lot of expression out of the face just by having a few separate bits.
Yeah, so
nice.
you kind of separate them all out, like the kind of it kind of blends into the rolls of the face anyway, but you kind of like the eyebrows and kind
Yeah,
of mouth
it's-
bits. Even the nose is separated, so it slightly tilts up and down, and then
Yeah,
kind of the
it's-
tongue comes out.
Makes it
great.
feel much more alive.
Yeah, and then I was kind of gave it some abilities using kind of the raycast to get the orientation of the surface, and then
Nice.
kind of transition into an
good.
animation and just spawn some.
Wow.
I feel like Shadow's feet must be made out of like solid metal to get the spark.
I was just exaggerating it just to feel like more satisfying.
That's
Just
great.
kind of
Yeah,
stuff like that. I gave it kind of a simple ground pound move, and then if you kind of jump out of it, you kind of get a spin and kind of an extra effect up.
Nice.
Wow.
I love the little stars coming out from the ground pound as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
That
that's
you use
using
the
the
text
text
gadget to
gadget,
make
yeah.
special effects.
Yeah, it's just I think it's randomized as well in a simple way because it spawns a rotating disc that is maximum speed, and it uses the signal generator at 0 seconds, so it kind of changes orientation pretty quickly, so it's always different.
Smart.
And then I gave it also the ability to swim.
Oh, I love that it gets wet and
Water looks great, isn't it?
water.
Kind of dive under and
Do you want to explain how you did how the water looks, Steve?
yeah, the water, the top surface is using the text gadget again.
So
the
filthy.
Text gadget is such a good. I love it.
And even the ripples are the text gadget, right?
Yeah, like if you go
If you carry on swimming around and
we
have
haven't got
a,
edit mode on, so,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So-
If you have a look, it's multiple textures, so they're kind of overlapping. It has like a lighter one and a darker one, and they kind of overlap to create like some kind of like ripple movement.
Oh.
And then it has another one underneath that as well.
That's the sort of thing that makes programmers cry, I'm sure. But
and the little ripples
Yeah,
that come
the
out there, look, they're text
Also
gadgets as
text
well, the
gadgets.
little circular ripples.
Then it's combining that with
crazy.
using the kind of stroked effects.
Oh, the dog gets shiny as well.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
kind of shiny if you go in, like, and the kind of
Does he shake off?
drips off as well.
Yeah, he needs
If
to
you kind
shake.
of go out, you
Shake.
kind of jump in. Not yeah, I was thinking about doing that.
That's amazing. Attention to detail.
I mean, this is fine, but if it had a shake.
Then perfect.
And you can kind of like make the
Water go down, that's
level
great.
go down as well, and then it's got like little foot splashes as well using straight
Oh, it's
just on the foot positions. And also using the bubbles as well. So that's using the text gadget as well. It's got two text gadgets. It's using what is it? The border shape squished down to be a circle. Then it's got fall off, and then it's got another one. That's
ridiculous.
Get the camera.
Don't be telling people about these things.
Yeah, it's got like the little bubble highlight as well, so it's kind of.
I love how most of this level is basically made out of text gadgets.
That's
Also the
incredible.
bubbles, because they're individual, they kind of fade out when they get near the water surface. So when it does go down, it's like they don't suddenly clip into the
Water,
top
yeah, that's really
surface.
smart.
Mad genius.
Wow.
Dude.
These ones are pretty simple as well, making them float. The movable objects here are just that's like super simple. It's just following towards. By just checking they're in the water, and when they're in the water, they follow towards the surface level of the water.
Nice.
And then they got a gyroscope to kind of keep them upright, which kind of
Convinces you, yeah.
Again.
Wow.
I also love it when you go under the water, you turn on a grade gadget, right, to make it everything a bit more blue just as you go under the
So we
water.
got zone detection of the camera. So as soon as the camera goes under, it changes the audio as well.
Smart.
Kind of muffle it, and also change the grading and add kind of depth of field a little bit. So it's very close, you know, so it's kind of increased.
Lovely.
There's a lot of fans in the
Smart.
chat.
Incredible.
Love it, Steve. Congratulations.
That's so cool. I can't
so
wait
what
to
are
see
you
what
going
you
to
do with it. Yeah.
What's next? You're going to actually.
I was going to make more abilities. Like I wanted something I prototyped ages ago. I was just digging under the ground.
Oh, right.
So you can kind of dig under things and boost out and kind of use it for like stealth-based gameplay. I just generally use it as a kind of launcher, or go underneath something and pop it up.
What about laying a dog egg?
It's gonna,
Right up there on the list. Mark.
yeah, it's going to start to do some more abilities. Like even the trails here are using the text gadget.
Oh.
It's spawning out.
Has anyone made an entire geometry's worth of level out of just text gadgets yet? Someone's going to do it.
Give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to start looking into text gadgets now.
A
yeah.
glass maze
crazy.
made from text gadgets. That'll make Alex cry, I'm sure.
The dust is really, really
We
smart.
may have just
though.
made Alex cry
Yeah.
by shaming him off the stream, but
Yeah, he's over there now. Cry.
And even when you're on the bottom surface,
incredible.
it detects it and puts the fog gadget that kind of looks like it's kicking up debris.
Yeah, that's
So why did you use the fog gadget under the water and the text gadget on the top for the
It
dust?
was just cheaper and it looked more like it's kicking up dust. It's just the kind of effect I was going for was more like kind of foot trails, which I wanted them to be a bit more individual, like
ya.
kind of break up in a slightly
Got
different
ya.
way and have slightly more control.
okay.
Very cool.
Be a bit quicker to
Oh, you're
fade out and
just
fade in.
amazing, Steve.
Well done, Steve.
So, well done.
Awesome. Love that one.
Okay, let's show some things that the community has
Do
made.
you want to Mark? Do you want to start?
Okay.
Yeah, we have a whole collection put together. We'll publish it at the end of the stream, so you can
Let's
all
give
check
that
out
a
and
like.
share stuff. It's been crazy watching the number
I'm going
like
to
of
zoom in because my
people
eyesight isn't so good as
skyrocketing
Yeah.
this week.
So, what's the plan here? Do we go from top left to
You
thing?
You
Yeah,
can really
choose
free
anyone you
choose,
want.
Like, you know, start with something that speaks to you, I think.
Well, I think I've seen pretty much everything on here. This was quite a new one. I'm going to go here. This Sloan Mackenzie has been churning out
Very cool
all
stuff,
kinds of
yeah.
awesomeness. So what do we have here? This is a sort of cute, fluffy purple ball. X for jump. Two X's, double jump. Okay, so far, so good, pretty simple.
Oh, this is so good.
Collect these things.
I like when the
Like
body
s-
does a flip when you do a double jump. The body itself flips, but the hands,
yeah,
feet don't.
Oh,
It's really
yeah.
clever.
So you're going to collect
I mean, you probably want to pick up a few more of those. I'm not saying why. I'm just saying you
No.
might want to.
Oh yeah, here we go. So here we go. Look, I've
You've got 8.
You want to go
It's just you want to make sure you can afford the top hat.
Down.
You're like,
Top hat.
Top hat.
Top hat.
Top hat.
Yeah, top hat.
I mean, there is an hat, but let's go top. We don't have enough to afford
spend
it.
all of the money that you've got.
Well, I mean, I think for the
No,
purpose
go
of
for it
showing
all.
things on the stream, we should
That's
probably
how
buy
you
a
want to
hat.
Look at that.
There
That's
it is. Look at that. I like that it's a little bit to the side
That's
as well.
wonderful.
So you've got that bit of like.
So now, every time I
swagger.
jump, these blue things are going to flip. So I need to use my double jump, I guess. So
Nice.
this creator has done a couple of platformers, I think. Or there's
We've seen a couple different platformers that use like either like time control stuff or I'm trying to. What did we show? I think we showed something from Sloan Mackenzie last week.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was the escape room.
Oh, this, yes.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so the idea of having a sort of simple mechanic like this, but then totally milking it with these different motifs is just brilliant, I think. So what do we need to do here? We need to do that, and then that. That's right.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool
I
level.
thought that was just a...
Also, I love that they figured out the varying looseness on the rock. You can see they've got it tight on the edge and loose on the middle, and it just makes those rocks look really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really clean. It's got a lovely look to it, but it's just really good game design as well.
I agree.
Well
Very
done.
cool.
Very
Well
cool.
Well done, Sloan
It's a
Mackenzie.
big.
And two.
Big like. Steve, do you want
Yeah,
to
we just pass it.
over.
Just pass it to
Alright.
Steve, and
Go
we'll
on,
just
Steve.
go back and forth.
What we're going to look at.
Okay, this one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's-
yeah, I was going to say, we were going to kind of say this one towards the end, because we were actually going to have Ed come on and talk about making robot noises after, and it was nice. Like,
Come on.
save it.
Sorry,
Make
Steve.
robot noises.
Sorry,
That's
Steve.
the only one you can't choose.
Kaboom's a good one.
Oh, Kaboom's the fave.
Which one's that one?
No,
No,
left,
down, left, right,
Down one
down,
more.
right,
Right.
No.
There, you're right. There you go.
I can see.
I enjoy Kaboom.
Beginner 18.
I'm excited to see what Expert's going to be like. Because beginner gives me trouble anyway.
So I think you just have to get the exploding ball to the exit in time before it explodes, if I remember rightly on this one.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. So I can see it
Yeah,
again.
you can do this.
Gets trickier.
Get a jump.
Missed it, Steve. Nice. Time bonus.
Again, this is another example of like, you know, sort of simple idea, but just great level design.
Yeah, it's really nice.
This is really hard, this bit.
Ooh, nice. Steve nailed it.
Oh, do you do that for that? I was in the chat. I took so many times trying to do that.
Did you just miss it?
Yeah. Paige, I'm going to be able to do this one later.
Yeah, go, 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 go.
Come on, come
I'm
on.
wondering if it's going to stick on the platform.
Well, I'm gonna find out. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You got 16 seconds left, Steve.
Oh my god,
Come on,
this is
you
tense,
can't
this is
hang
tense,
around.
this is tense, this is tense.
To get,
10 seconds.
go.
Oh!
7. But 4,
Go, go.
3, 2. Oh.
Close.
Nice. It's really
Okay.
Nice. Bonus day.
Bonus
Yeah.
Stage.
Play a bonus.
very methodical there, Steve. I
Let's
like
go
it.
from the outside inward.
I have to compare everything to old Commodore 64 games, and this reminds me of a game called QDex. There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks, Mark.
That was top down, but it was essentially.
Yeah,
Amazing.
well done. End of bonus. That was great.
Yeah, thank
Should we have a?
you.
Like that one.
I think you got 8. There's 8 stages. We don't want to spoil it.
That's okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
we don't want to spoil everything.
Okay, right.
Very
I'm gonna
cool.
choose.
Very nice.
Let's have a look.
What's your choice, Tom?
What's my choice? Oh, I'm going to show Battletops. Because Battletops is great. So Battletops is really cool because it was originally like you can only play it over with yourself or friends, but this one, just they've added some AI to it.
No, got some AI in there.
Yeah, so it's
Ooh, what colour are you?
I'm that green one.
You're the green one, okay.
This one who just.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm the dead one now.
Oh!
You are.
I'm now.
That's some good AI. The AI fights to the death.
My money's on
I mean,
the pink one.
Pink one is.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, well done, Pink.
Well done,
And they've
Pink.
got some different maps for it. And
That's
it's
cool. I
just
love the look of the maps,
very
actually.
cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
I
that.
like variation.
That's cool. Ooh,
Oh,
tricky.
speed to spin up as well.
I don't know how you survived that. You realise.
Come on.
That's not fair.
Oh,
is
it's
it?
glass. It's glass.
No.
We're fine. We're
Is that a glass top?
Yeah, yeah.
It is,
really
yeah, that
much
was-
more tense when I thought those were holes. You did
Red.
still not win.
No, I'm gonna
Just
let
so
me
you know.
try. Let me try.
One
Thanks.
more. We got one more chance to try and win.
Okay, where am I at? Right. Right, I took that down. Oh no, no, okay, good.
Which one are you again?
I'm the blue one.
I thought you were green.
I thought I
green
was.
the whole time.
Come on. No. Did I win? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well done.
Did it?
Congrats.
I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Good idea. I really-
You win. You win.
It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous, actually, what people have been making. I think.
Over to Tom then.
Isn't it?
Other Tom.
Oh,
Tom
it's
2.
amazing.
Tom
I mean,
two.
amazing.
And I love how
We
much
can't
it
even use
amazes
your
everyone.
surname because you're both Tom D, so that.
Yeah, yeah, full names only.
Right. Any recommendations, team?
No, just go for it.
Go
Yeah.
ducks.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is so fun.
Should I reset or continue? Let's just continue. See what happens. Uh-oh. Okay.
I think you have to hold down the right combination of buttons in time.
Uh-oh.
You've got to do it in time
No, you
when
have
it
to
comes
hold them,
around.
hold them, hold them,
it
hold
until
them,
it comes
hold
around. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, now go.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. And it gets faster and faster. You can do it.
Okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Settling into it now.
Believe.
Is it
No,
three?
I think. Oh yeah, no,
It
you
gets
did not.
faster, yeah.
Okay, got that.
It's such a good duck.
This is a neat idea. I've never seen this one before.
I wonder what the high score on this one is. Actually.
Yeah.
What's the current high score on Rake? Does anybody know?
That's a
God,
good
I don't
question. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to know.
Oh, goodness. Oh, missed it.
Oh, just missed it. Oh, yeah.
Panic, panic setting in.
It's getting faster.
Lady Lex in the chat. This is her duck that she created.
Oh, cool.
Good duck.
Well done, lady.
Great.
Lex.
Good solid duck.
It is
Great
a solid duck. yeah.
Classic duck.
Oh,
Is it deliberately a decoy duck, or is it supposed to be?
that's a good question.
Someone's questioning
Is
they
it-
may have the high score for Rake, which is 117. So
That's
that's a lot of time spending
great.
with Rake.
To be boshed in the face.
And the music there from
You're doing very good, Tom.
Joe Ward.
Oh, the current high score for Rake is 199.
Can't concentrate on anything but buttons.
The duck is sort of like a genetic experiment between a duck and a shoe.
Yes, so yeah, something's gone horribly wrong, hasn't it?
34 is pretty good.
Was that good?
I was impressed with that.
Oh, thanks.
Let's give that a like. Should we see what they? Can we
Let's have a look what the high
go
score
score?
is.
Yeah, scoreboard.
118.
Well done, Ultra Clever.
Yeah.
Smart.
Wow.
It's his game.
Oh, okay.
yeah. He knows his way around.
Some people have the high scores on their own games.
Yeah,
Some people are good.
Okay, John, what are you going to play?
Okay, let's have a look then. What have we got?
OG the Enigma in the chat creator.
Reflection
Nice.
is a brilliant one, actually, as well.
Yeah,
Where's
very
that?
cool.
Okay.
To the right, next to Comic Grab.
Oh, I like Comic Grab actually. I'm going to
Okay.
do Comic Grab because I like
Oh, yeah, Comic Grab's really
things.
cool.
I like space things.
Trench bucket.
So I've got to try and stop the comets before they hit Earth. And you do this by
No pressure,
grabbing
John.
them, and then you put them into orbits around. Yeah, if you can put them into orbits for like extra points, basically. And if you don't get them into orbit, then you don't get the extra.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
That's cool.
But you've got to throw it at just the right speed to sort of maintain that orbit. And it's
No
good to get
pressure,
them
but
to
there
orbit
are.
the same way because you're less likely
They'll
to get
stop other
crashes
stuff
then.
from
Yeah.
coming in.
You've only
Doesn't
got
matter
to
if they
protect
collide
7
with each other.
billion people.
No, but then you lose. It's better if you can get them more in orbit. The better it is for you points-wise.
That's a
This
neat
is
idea.
a genius idea.
It's sort of like
Oh my god.
a twisted version of those sort of flight paths.
And it gets faster and faster. Some good orbital juggling.
Humanity's
Oh god!
Oh,
3 million people dead.
John, Dan.
Sorry. It's also such a small little target to grab with the as well.
Can you
Just
grab the
into that.
blue bonus?
Oh, I didn't see the bonus things. Oh, they're starting to crash into each other. I'm making quite a good defense shield here, though. See, it's working.
Yeah, this is
Oh, nice.
This is neat.
Oh, I really like it. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, blue
yeah.
thing.
Did you just grab the planet and spin it as well?
No, you can. Oh, another few million people dead. Get it? Yeah, bonus.
Score
Oh, low Earth orbit. There we
Oh,
go.
I can imagine
That
it's
is.
big.
Look at the orbit
That
of this
is,
one.
that is in there.
Oh, that's a score doubler, is it?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
That's a good explosion.
gone.
7
Now everyone's
billion
dead.
people dead.
That's very nice.
I like that. Did I get the high score? No.
Whoa.
Damn it.
No, you
Somebody will
didn't.
make
Oh,
the
close.
flip side of
I
this game
was
where it's
close.
just the people on the planet
Running.
like seeing these things come down and like fling into orbit and
Yeah.
like it's just a terrifying scene.
It's a whole
I hope somebody
thing.
makes that game. I'd like to see that.
That's a
Oh
neat
gosh,
idea.
what do I do?
You've really upset drawing lover in the chat, John.
Why?
You've blown the world up.
Reflection.
Oh,
Oh,
don't.
no, don't listen to me, actually.
No, we have lots of things to show. Oh, this was cool. Somebody made.
I've seen that.
was
Oh,
showing this with
wow.
architecture. They made their
That-
home. I assume it's their home. I don't know if it's their
That's-
home. I haven't been in their home.
That looks really nice.
Yes.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and they just did a really nice little like.
Look at that. Look at the detail. That's so good.
The lighting is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I would like to live in that. Oh, it's a really nice use to make the mirrors. That's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
So it's just little like you can
Good
move,
fireplace.
inspect, reset position, and
Decorative light tree. I like
yeah. So I just enjoy people doing. Oh, what did I do? Exit level. Oh, that's,
Maybe press
that's an
circle.
odd button press one. I've ruined this for this
Rewind,
person. Sorry.
rewind, start again. Go on, give it a fair chance.
Rewind.
Actually, I think I did see this one. I think you have to click X on the different objects and then
Oh, with the
camera just kind of goes into an orbit around that.
Oh, telescope as well there.
You want to go to the telescope?
Into the
See if we
astronomy.
can telescope.
Maybe hold it down a
Astro
bit longer.
Master. Yeah, I am holding it down. It's just got some funky
tricky.
button presses. Sorry. But it is very cool,
sorry.
and I like that
thought
people are
it
doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
There we go.
That is a cool telescope.
Just a one tap, not hold down.
Master.
That's actually my signal to go.
Candle?
Oh, you got
Oh, Mark's being called away.
Mark's been
Sorry, I
summoned.
We replace him with.
I have
I'd
to
like
go
to see
and take my
what
son
is in
to-
there. I love these little curio things.
Look at that.
Oh, that's so cute.
Well, I really hope this is this person's
Oh,
house. If they are their
Yeah.
wedding cake toppers, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm watching the chat to see if they're in the
my
chat.
words. That's very sweet.
Oh, I love
Dragon
having
Con.
things labelled.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, I thought that was very cute. I like
I
that
love that.
they
Bye,
were doing
Mark.
different stuff. Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark. See you later. Over to you then, Steve.
That's really beautiful.
Are you gonna?
That was really beautiful. I'm really impressed with that.
I love some of the names, the icons of these games are great as well.
Try something like play another game.
There's loads, Steve. Anyone you
Yeah,
want.
whatever
Just
you want.
Go for it, Steve. Anyone.
That one.
Do Skelekid.
Alex is back from
That one.
recovering
Yeah.
after we shamed him.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Alex.
How you feeling, Alex?
I'm bald Mark. I'm not Alex. the bald version of Mark.
It's good to have you on the stream, Bold Mark.
That's right. Well, yeah.
I like the length of this one. I've seen a level where you spend like
Yeah, it's a good
10 minutes in it.
Well, this one's running at a nice 60 as well, isn't it? Nice frame rate. Whoever made this one.
Lovely grading too.
Oh,
unnecessary vandalism. Nice little gems.
Reminds me a bit of Spyro. That's just like going around collecting the gems.
Yeah, it's cute.
Really cool.
Did they do the character as well as the environment? They're really well matched, aren't they? The sort of style, art style goes through.
Oh,
Oh.
The gems are.
all together
Dig up the
now.
gem.
I think it teaches you up here. Actually.
Yeah, Steve spoiled the surprise already by doing it ahead of time.
I like these.
So mean, Steve.
Oh, I believe the creator is in the chat.
Oh, hello, creator.
Super Luigi Brews.
Super Luigi
Are you the creator?
Brews.
I must know.
This has been office favourite for sure.
It's a great use of mods.
Hello. He is. Hello.
What was the thing he found trickiest? He didn't, or she?
Yeah. What was your trickiest thing while designing the Adventures of Skelekid? He's like, now wait until the.
Yeah. There's like a 20-second delayed feedback loop.
He can tell us later, but yeah, I'd love to know. Maybe
Very
when we're on
cool.
the next level, he'll come back and tell us.
Yeah.
Currently, they say
Oh.
You know where they all are. Have you played this
I've
one?
done it.
the logic. They say that they found the logic tricky.
Tricky, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Ah,
You
bad guys.
nailed it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's really solid looking.
I love how those bad guys just
They-
disappear in a
Yep.
puff of smoke.
Yep.
I mean, you clearly didn't make the same mistakes Tom made earlier in his level, so.
Oh.
Damn. Oh.
Molecule infighting.
Well,
I got a grumpy old man mug from my Secret Santa, so I feel I need to live up to the to the hype.
Very cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
This is
Yeah,
when it,
well done.
Opens up into like a big.
Cool. Yeah, don't spoil it for everyone. Let them go and play it. Go and find it and
What's
check
the
it out.
next?
Over to Tom.
yeah, Alex, do you want to
What?
play?
No, don't let me touch the
let's
controller,
go
danger.
Danger!
Danger.
No. Yeah.
We should get the chat to choose the next one from two. We should go from one of two, and then they have to yell.
Okay, yeah. So let's go with.
But we still will play all of them.
We will play all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a think. We can either show Robotic Uprising
Yeah.
or
Llama Quest.
Llama Quest.
Yeah.
Okay, robots
Okay.
or llamas?
Robots or llamas? What a choice.
I feel like llamas will win somehow.
What will the chat say?
That's, dunno.
I feel like llamas are super. Like,
Llama Quest, llama.
Llama wins.
And now the chat is covered with the word llama.
Wait, we're doing
Yes.
llama. It's happening.
Okay.
I did search for a whole bunch of llama stuff after the.
Llamas were llamaed during
During the
llama
llamaing of this llama.
That's amazing.
This is
And I
from,
found another cute llama. I love llamas.
this is from J+B, who created the Rake, I believe. So
This is such a cute
I
llama.
feel like
love
Ed
it.
would really like this because I know Ed has a certain affiliation.
Do you want
with
Ed to come
llamas.
stand behind
Ed,
here so
do you-
you can
yeah.
watch Ed's face while he watches a llama?
Is this,
Yeah.
Maybe it's a
Ed, stand behind us so we can see you enjoy a llama.
I want to see you like the llamas, Ed. As soon as I saw Llama Quest, I was like, Ed would be so into this.
I love this game.
Do you think it's made by Jeff Minter? Maybe this is Jeff Minter under the secret pseudonym. If you're in the chat, are you Jeff Minter?
That is a really good llama as well because we don't, we're not sort of there isn't quadruped support so to
yeah.
speak, and so they've worked out how to do that, which is really great.
Yeah, animated.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the animated
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ripples just for John because I know he likes the ripples.
I do.
Got that extra derpy feel which makes it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Perfect.
And it's so at
Fantastic.
peace. As well.
Yeah, it's so zen. It can navigate with its eyes
Keep
shut.
going,
Yeah,
it
it's
gets on
wonderful.
fire.
Okay. Oh yeah.
They could have some neck.
What? That's a motivation.
Well, because when we got to this point, I was like, I wonder if it catches on fire, and the answer is yes.
We'll prove it as well.
Let's see them.
So let's just wait.
Was everyone?
Oh no!
Ah, fire llama.
I want the neck to pop. Isn't that a thing that llamas do? Do they just sort of, pump that neck forward to
This llama has good, grace and poise.
Yeah.
chill, yeah. Chill
Okay, nice. I don't want to spoil all of Llama Quest because if you look out there are some shrines to llama.
Llama
Yeah,
shrines.
so-
I love
Well
it.
done.
Thank
That's
you,
very
J+B,
cool.
for another excellent. Give that a like.
Yep.
Cool music too. I'm loving the.
Go show our other llama while you're there. There's another llama if you go.
Oh, it's a double
down
llama.
Over here to the right.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Kama llama down.
Okay, I'll
Enjoy that.
Llama down.
Electrofun makes a lot of characters in Dreams, and they're super cute. And it was like a.
Oh, wait.
let's jump in.
It's like as soon as you search for one thing in Dreams, like that level came up, then I'm like, let's see what other people have done with llamas.
Also pretty chill.
Not enough llamas yet.
Are llamas naturally chill, Ed? Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
What about alpacas?
Yeah, they're a little bit. They have a bit of a chip on their block, on the shoulder, because they're a little bit smaller and they get bullied.
But they actually use llamas to guard alpacas.
No way.
Yeah, so like
Regards to
you
llamas.
can have an alpaca. I mean, I don't.
Camels?
Epic llamas. Double
And
llamas.
bigger llamas.
Really
Can we have a llama jam
Wolves.
for the community challenge?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't be able to do it for
Yeah.
beta, but that's something that we can do later on. Sure, llama jam.
Llama jam coming.
Llama down.
Actually,
coming
speaking
soon.
of game jams, we are doing Global Game Jam this weekend, and we will encourage you to make games. There's a theme to it. We don't know what the theme is because it's announced Friday when Hawaii starts jamming, and I don't know that time zone off the top of my head, to be honest. Or what that means for here or whatever time zone you're in. I don't know. But we'll be jamming on that theme this weekend in Dreams, and we will encourage you to make things and tag them Global Game Jam or GGJ in Dreams, and we'll do a stream on Monday, and we'll show a bunch of that stuff as well as what we make over the weekend. So join us. It's a really cool event, and actually you should go sign up for a local site if you are lucky enough to have one where you live. It's a really fun way to meet other people who are interested in making games and make some really awesome stuff. So you should do that. It's cool.
I'm going to play this one.
Go for it.
Because
Do it.
My dog's called Otto.
Oh, fun fact about
Fun
Tom.
fact. One of my dogs.
Orb thingies, 0 of 7.
Oh, I'm going to guess this way.
Words.
Words are happening.
Oh.
I should read it out, shouldn't I?
Oh, you need to
Press
voice it.
R2 mid-jump to perform a stomp attack.
Like that.
It's a good stomp attack. It's like some hard platforming.
Jump!
Oh.
Is there a double jump?
Is there a double jump? No.
Maybe I'm just rubbish.
So I worked this out earlier. If you want in on the secret,
Oh, wait.
don't jump. Jump now, but don't jump. And now press R2. So there we are.
Ah.
So now my way around
secrets.
Otto's adventure.
Yes.
Has Otto got a Mohican?
I think
Yep.
so, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, candles going out is not a good sign.
That's cool. Do you think they did that with an expanding thingy?
A zone, a trigger zone.
Is that the technical term?
Yeah, the
Do I need to get
thingy.
Lucy up here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, so everything in the game is called different things to us because we rename them all. Ah!
My mouth was just on the floor then. I was looking at it just like, what is going on?
Love
It's
the
a
run
long
cycle.
swing.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, orb thingies are the least of my worries.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon,
Yeah.
terrifying
way?
dragon explosion.
Oh, there's an orb thingy.
There's an orb thingy.
Get it.
Oh,
And
and a
Watch the
vomiting
spikes,
potato?
watch the spikes.
poo being sick.
There's a platform on the right. You can get it.
All I can see is the light propagation for the artifacts. Oh shit.
Oh God.
You just run into the deadly vomit there,
Yeah, I
Tom.
want to be there.
Like,
Very cool. I like that one.
Okay, I better stop here.
okay.
Okay.
I'll let it-
There's so many to
Yeah,
see.
it's good fun.
Awesome. Give that one a like. So I saw a character earlier. So this one I really liked.
No, this actually was a runner-up in our community jam for robots. So the Dreamiverse is full of robot stuff right now.
Look at the details on that.
Look at that big hand.
Zombie arm.
Zombor.
It's great. I love it.
Ivy, can you do your voice?
Huh?
Can you do your robot voice?
My robot voice?
Yeah, from Titanfall.
Can I? Is that a copyright violation?
No,
I mean, it's me. I don't even know.
your voice.
There's actually one that we're gonna show later that like fits even better.
Okay, we'll wait for that then.
That is cool. I'm very into that.
A worthy.
I like Abby.
All right.
Type of
Yeah.
667.
Sneak peek into our retirement. That's what we do.
Okay, I put this in here, so I'm gonna go into this. Chelsea is a creator that on about every week because I just love their like amazingly sort of bizarre, cool stuff. And this one, like the layers of the father and the kid, I'm assuming, also holding whatever that is, and then eating the chocolate house, and then even inside the chocolate house, there's like a little version of them, and then an even smaller version of them. I don't know if this is the finished version of this, but I love it.
On the next.
I wonder how far you can go. The cool thing in Dreams, right, Alex will know, is you can just keep zooming in and getting smaller and smaller. So you could probably make like a house and 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 a house, like a lot of times.
I really want to make one of those ones that just keep zooming, like a level that somehow where you cut the camera and no, I'm not going to play. Too dangerous.
You can show a character, you can, you know.
No, too scary. It'll crash, the servers will go down if I touch the controller.
To go to next.
No, Dungy is a.
Dungy's pretty great.
Should I go see that?
Yeah, do it.
Ugh.
So currently we're running a bugs
beetle.
challenge.
Yeah, we are, and some people are making bugs.
I love the pearlescentness of the character.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
And
really,
it
really
moves
nice.
and it pushes
Nice
its little
painting,
ball.
You can push it.
Do it,
down.
Steve. Possess.
Possess it, Steve.
Yeah, there it is.
Yay!
You push that down, Steve.
Those hairy legs, man.
Oh, I
This
love
looks-
how they've done it with a biped, but it doesn't look
A backwards
like
biped.
Yeah, backwards biped is amazing. I think it's so cool.
This looks. I wonder if this is the same ball that was on the boom boom level earlier. You know, looks like the same one.
That's your home. You just.
I feel like if you link those two levels together and it fell out, it would just be like the perfect.
They don't live in dung. I think they just.
I just love the
They just push
texture,
it.
the like sort of
I don't know, I thought they did.
feathery. It's really nice.
Nice furry
Well done.
details there. Very cool.
One day there'll be a dung beetle education level that we can learn
Yeah.
about whether or not dung
Absolutely.
beetles
Here we go. Ed, do you want to play something? Do you
Edge
wanna-
play
Sure.
something.
Go on,
I don't know
she's-
what I've missed because we don't.
So we'll tell you if you go to
Yeah,
do something.
we'll yell at you if you mess it up.
Galactic Dream Cave.
Yeah, go for it.
Do it.
Oh, cool. So I've not played this. I have no idea what it is. Play. Oh, that was rubbish.
Ski ball?
Yeah.
Oh. Wasn't that bad.
He missed Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to really miss. Only slightly missed.
Oh. Oh, you got 10 points.
10. Ching ching.
Melody lights in the chat.
surely.
Good
30
work.
points. That's pretty decent.
I'm just waving at the creators when they say it. Hello.
Don't use words. Just
No.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, every time they create, I'll just go.
Hello. I like the nod too.
Yeah.
Nod.
Yeah.
Subtle nod, wink,
Yeah.
wink.
Yeah.
Point and a wink, maybe.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
disappointing, Ed.
okay, one more go. Oh, that's rubbish. Gonna go for full power.
Just knocked yourself out.
It just comes
You're
back
gonna do one
and
more go
hits you
from
in the
there.
head.
Oh, that's it. That's the one. That's the points.
Well,
That's good.
Oh,
Amazing.
That is some points.
so I won't really have placed very high on the score table there, but I really enjoyed that.
good, isn't it? I think they got there.
Ball.
You have one more,
Oh,
yeah?
I've got 0 balls then.
Oh, that's. Ah.
Good ending there, Ed. End on a strong.
Yeah, sorry.
And the creators in the stream said this is the first thing that they really did in Dreams.
No.
Oh, really?
Wow. Good work.
It's really cool. They have done other stuff since. I think we may even have some more of that in this one, even maybe. But that is really cool
Okay, I'm going to show Robotic Uprising, as that was
because
the
that's
other
the same
choice.
creator
Ah,
as what we just played.
Oh,
is it?
So yes.
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Back to
Synergy.
back. Yeah, nice.
Good segue in there then.
Double bill of
Calipixie.
Calipixie. This is called. So someone was actually asking if we've got any animations or like short films to show. This is kind of
Okay.
in there. I'm just going to pop the controller down.
It's interesting to see how they've evolved as well. If that was their first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Feel danger.
Steampunky.
Cool.
Ah.
Oh my god.
Whoa. Indiscriminately killing things.
Something wants
Wow. That's
Destructible landscape.
so cool. Cool coming around.
No.
Whoa.
Awesome.
See something, say something. And then.
Surprise!
Tell me this wasn't your first animation.
The original music as well.
Sounds like it.
No way.
That flip is so cool.
That was super cool. Oh no. Whoa!
Well done.
Excellent work. Well done, Melody.
Good stuff.
Hey, cool. Right, Tom, do you want to choose something else?
Oh, okay. Let's go over here. Reflection. Have we done that?
No,
yet.
do it.
Oh, let's go. Another Sloan Mackenzie. Let me reset. Okay.
Chill. This is
This way.
chill.
Oh, what was that? Come on. What am I doing? I don't
What was the
know.
last thing we saw from Slurms? Was it Alarm Quest?
No, it was the little ball floating,
Oh, yeah,
jumping
yeah.
with awesome hands and top hat. I forget the name. I'm really sorry.
Did not expect that. Oh!
Oh,
Come on, fingers. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm.
Right, if I can't. No, right, abort, run away. What's over here?
A sign that tells you need to go back and finish the other one.
That would be so mean.
Oh,
Reflection.
wow.
Ooh, ah.
See.
That is so cool. And clever use of a text gadget there, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What do you reckon, Steve?
Yeah, it's good.
Text gadget there.
Is this our first big example of something that we didn't anticipate on it being used the way it has
Oh
been?
man, I was watching Steve's level earlier and just
Whoa.
have no idea what to
That
think.
was
I'm gonna have to
cool.
go and panic. I need a quiet room to just go and sit in for a while.
When we were designing the text gadget, we added loads of
now
extra
I'm
things like last
Wait.
minute, hoping they'd be useful, and it's turned out to be even more useful than we thought.
Are they sorted? Like if you put them in,
There's a sort order. Yeah,
there is a
yeah.
sort order. Okay, cool.
About there.
It makes me think. Remember the on LVP2 you had the hologram material.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely directions we could go with that. Someone was like begging me on Twitter for a pixel art mode.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask her that, but
I can't get that one.
We can do it. We can do it.
Too inept, I'm
We
afraid.
can do it. It's
all
closer
sorts
to the
of
mirror than you
paintings,
think.
animations,
Is it?
2D,
Yeah, yeah.
general sort of 2D vibe.
So just jump straight at the mirror. There you go.
Yes!
Wow.
Thanks, pro tip, John. Thank you.
The really cool thing is this
Good
isn't really a mirror, is it? That's the madness of it.
Well,
Exactly.
wait
I mean,
for this bit.
Is it?
or is it?
Wow. Very good.
That was good.
So Chad joined us in all that. Oh!
OMG!
No, Mackenzie's going to be really happy about that one. Okay, what have we got? Oh, I quite like this. So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Of course.
Disarmed
art
Ro's been
is-
doing some cool stuff, and this will probably make Alex cry a little bit.
I haven't seen this, but he just tweeted something like, "Yeah, not done anything much this week. It's rubbish." So let's see what his rubbish is, shall we?
Rubbish.
Absolute rubbish.
God.
I mean, it was piles
Well,
of rubbish.
if he thinks it's rubbish, then, like, you know.
Yeah.
Try harder.
Actually, this reminds me
Wow,
of.
goodness.
This is like the level that we've shown in our story mode with a train and some
Yep.
of the journalist streams you may have seen from previous events. But this is like the sort of New Yorker version of
Dystopian,
it, the dystopian.
I love that they've put at the bottom real-time footage running on the bubble bath engine, which is what
Oh,
we
yeah.
named our engine like a long time ago.
I wish
Thanks
John
to the
Eckersley,
community named
Eckersley
it.
about. We should get an art critique from John because this is right up his street, isn't it?
Yeah.
He does this sort of stuff. Look, it's New York. I tell you. Look at that little D. Is it the D line? Is there a D
Very
line?
cool.
didn't know
I
it's
really
a D
like that
line.
one.
I didn't know it's a D line.
Wow.
Yeah, there is now.
There is now.
Amazing.
Metro. Nice. Good.
Good work.
Holy.
Amazing.
I know what I
It's
want
good
to
just to
show.
start
I show
telekinesis.
telekinesis.
I love the name.
So there's several things I love about
That's
this.
a hench meese.
So one of those is that like you can see the sort of person looking.
Scientist.
It's really.
I think it's community try.
Okay, so this one really does use the motion control. So you want to turn the wheel to the
Oh,
right.
with your mind powers.
Yes, with my mind
Who
powers.
did the track on this? Are they in the chat?
I'm waiting to see. I haven't done my finger guns because I haven't seen it. If you are in the chat, let us know.
Lovely.
A
Squidgy ball.
massive finger just poking in.
I love the way the whole mouse. really tried.
Yeah, they're really
So
thinking.
the question is, would you want to be in a room with a telekinetic mouse? That would be
I'd like
quite
it.
Yes.
terrifying.
I'd
right?
like
Well,
it.
I mean, if I was that person, probably not, because, you know, like they've been the one conducting the experiments. So.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't look good for them.
But so here's another question: if you were a mouse who had been granted telekinetic powers via the experimentation methods, would you be a happy mouse or sad mouse? Because you're like, whoa, I've got telekinetic powers.
Depends on a lot of things about my mouse
If you can
personality.
only move marbles
like-
around,
Move marble, get cheese. Very happy.
yeah.
I'll be fine.
Have I been born into this lab environment, or was I stolen?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, what's our motivation? I mean, we're just going to need a lot of information about our mouse
Really need to
character,
workshop this
John.
character.
I've got a nudist neighbour called Ruth who's 90, and she had a mouse that died on Christmas Eve on her.
Like a pet mouse.
Oh yeah, she called me up and had to go and pick up the dead mouse.
Oh,
If only it had telekinetic powers.
If only.
Yeah.
Anyway,
If only.
I just really
Can you
enjoy.
telekinetic the scientist?
Oh, well, we don't know where this game is going yet. They keep
That is
updating
a
it,
thing.
so
That was an amazing.
you know, maybe.
That was really good.
That's one
I
of my
believe
Steve.
Day Harold's is part
Back to
of
not Alex.
our Discord
What do we want
community. So hello. Everyone give the finger guns. Nice.
Can I try that one?
No, Steve.
We've got to say
Come
that
on,
one. That's
Steve.
why. That's
Come
why
on, Steve. Anything but that,
I
Steve.
really want to try it.
We've really got to like
I'll try this
reel Steve in when he's on the street.
Yeah, try this. It's pretty cool.
We should
that's a recent.
zoom through some characters as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had something from Amen Joe last week, didn't we?
I think so. I recognise the.
What is going on there?
Or it may have been the physics.
Psychedelia.
Whoa,
Oh,
Remember.
like the pulling of them.
that's cool.
That is cool.
Great use of spotlights there too.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Ed, you used spotlights in the eye contact shining down, didn't you, with different gobos?
Yes, yeah. Gobos are amazing. It's like a very good way to start your art pass, I find. Before you start adding colour, they're a really good way to like block things
Yeah,
out.
block things out. Yeah, gobos. It's on the tweak menu of the light.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Are they actually called gobos?
No, we call them.
Because people will be looking for gobo and like, oh, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's
It's mask, or it's called mask or something.
But in the real world, they're called gobos.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why we don't call them gobos in the.
Okay.
Lucy.
Very cool. Very cool.
Name them
What are you gonna do, Ed?
Say Gobo.
Shall I-
How's he? How? What?
I'm not sure that's how he's in that, but it's what.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's great.
Kaleidoscope strokes.
Ends finally at some point.
Chill.
Amazing. Right.
Very
I
cool.
want to
Awesome.
look at. Should we show this
I'm
up
very
here?
soothing to look at. Yeah, do it.
An RPG, because the chat is begging for this one.
Is it?
Well, yeah. So,
Another moment has come.
let's get some lore.
You take on contracts called scrolls to slay men or beasts in exchange for gold. You have journeyed to the quaint Stonewall town.
I love
Go
your
in.
voice.
Fine. You enter the Dwarf Inn. The innkeeper here is especially adept at finding the best scrolls, offering for most gold. Slayer scrolls.
That's because you're a slayer and you take on contracts called scrolls.
Just in case.
Yeah.
No. So they have a live
Nice.
town. Some controls there.
Somebody's wondering if you. Oh yeah, J plus B is wondering if you'll voice act as Llama.
Obviously.
Apparently.
I've offered my
Yes.
voice acting a few times. No one's actually got in touch with me yet to go, right, John, just come here and do the
Can I
thing
be
for
your
me."
agent?
Absolutely.
I thought the voice actors were all on strike, aren't they?
Not me.
Maybe
I'll work for anything.
That was a,
John might not be a part of that sort of guild or union, as it turns out.
You can pay me in cake.
Yeah, cake and drones.
have a chat.
Do you have a scroll
For me. John.
Okay. Oh, God. Always do, but before we get started, you should know there's an assassin here for you. An assassin? Why did you
We
let
need
him in?
someone else to do the
Oh,
other
yeah, someone
voice,
else should do it.
to be
Okay,
clear.
come on then.
Yeah.
Where should we go? Shall I
Go
take
on,
the job?
come on, and you can do
An assassin? Why did you let him in?
He's got gold for ale, just like anyone else. But a dead slayer in my inn is not good for business.
I'll take care of it. Which one is he?
He's the fat one. Hard to miss, the lad. Remember, slayer, no weapons in my inn, and keep it quiet. A bar fight is not good for business.
End. Right. Shall we have a look for him? I'm guessing that's probably him.
A little bit of a soft blend belly there.
Oh,
Oh,
No, doesn't seem to mind you.
I don't know if we can.
get him with the chicken.
Like,
Poison him.
Here we go.
Swing.
Is that R2? Am I?
Swing sword is
Oh,
R2.
so I guess I'm gonna.
I mean,
knock him
you
out
gotta
with
kill
his-
him in one hit, so right?
Keep it quiet.
Otherwise, it's a bar fight.
Is it R2?
I don't think you have a sword.
R1.
Oh, do I have to?
L2.
L2.
I don't know.
press
I have
on
my
the
glasses
button.
on. I cannot read that.
No.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Maybe it's in
We're
need
stuck.
of some work. Maybe it's in progress.
Go out the door. Go out the
Make sure
door.
we just leave.
Run away.
Run away.
Oh no!
You didn't pick up any scrolls or anything, guys. Come on, this is your first time in Slayer Scrolls.
I know, I'm not doing very well.
Go over to that thing of poison and fill his mug.
Dipping sledge.
Dip it. Oh, it's frothing now.
Place drink.
Oh, it's...
Oh look, now he's drinking it.
Zed. Oh, he's asleep, not dead.
Shall I go let him know that I've...
Yeah.
John, you ready?
No, I'm ready.
Bet he gives you that sword.
Quick work, Slayer.
That was no assassin, dwarf.
The lad hadn't paid his tab in ages. A nap like that should teach him a lesson.
You got played.
I would like to be taught lessons by getting naps as like a grown, tired adult. I'm fine with that.
What scroll do you have for me?
This scroll comes from the Lord of Frostburg. A dragon plains the northern mountains. The Lord Knights have burned alive by its fiery breath. Slay the dragon, bring the dragon's tooth, and claim your gold.
That is a big, like make a guy go to sleep at a bar, now slay a dragon.
That leap. Oh, the music's changed. Are we able to
Now you're on a mission.
leave Dwarf Inn? We won't go too much further, but we'll just see what's outside Dwarf Inn, because we don't want to spoil this for people. I feel there's loads of those.
Okay,
So they have a lot to this. It's
Yeah.
it's
Excellent
really
work.
impressive.
World building is happening. I mean,
Wow.
I think
Took
that's my
lemons.
rock and snow actually in the distance.
Oh, is that your so nice?
I've just given away who I am now. Lol.
And on episode 5 as well, so you should
That's
definitely check
cool.
that
That's
one
cool.
out.
Yeah, check
Good
it out.
job,
There
Mike
you go.
Took Lemons.
Great.
also, PSN names are just amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
You can see why so many people were asking Sony to be able to change the name.
Yeah.
I named it when I was 6. Now I'm a fully grown adult.
These are the
Actually,
best
Bella's
names.
Reverie is a good one to show as we're sort of in the like big worlds, open worlds, large spaces one. It's pretty cool.
Let's have a look.
Version 3.2. I've missed versions 1 and 2.
But they have just built all of these houses, and the world keeps going,
Yes.
and it's
Oh, no way,
just,
so you can
they've
go in
put a lot of
everywhere.
work into.
Yeah, and there's like a gazillion level links. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's so many level links in this. It's really impressive.
Got to look in the bathroom. Anything in the toilet? Yeah.
Toilet. You can look in.
Oh, there is. Yeah. Well.
Flashing them, flashing them.
Oh, no.
There we go. It's okay.
I'm sure they were hoping that's the first thing we'd show.
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
All
created.
there, but it's been hours on a Christmas tree, and we just go straight for the bog. Ooh,
Oh, look, logic
yeah.
assistant place. Oh,
They
wow.
added credits. So
Oh,
this is like all
no
the people
way.
who
Okay,
did stuff,
go and check some out.
which is such a
Look at
great.
the logic system.
That's really cool.
Oh, Ed! Oh, look at that. I'm actually genuinely touched.
Oh.
So sweet.
That's amazing.
I feel like we just come into like the warp zone here. Where's the game gone?
I don't know. Shall I go and head back?
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Head back
Head back.
and show us a little.
Okay.
All right. Not
it
through the
was
credits door.
Credits door I went through.
That's better.
Idiota.
Igloo.
Igloo. Igloo.
Oh,
Igloo.
igloo.
That is nice. It's a nice
As
igloo.
expected, that is an igloo.
With the cave.
Definitely go in the cave.
Oh,
Flashlight.
flashlight from somewhere. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh, it's motion controlled as well.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Good work. A little bit nervous. There might be one of those exploding dragons from the earlier game. What was it called? The weird jumpy one, 2D side scroller.
Oh, Otto's Adventure.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a collab, spooky caves.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, bigger igloo.
Ooh.
Really big igloo.
Ice cave.
Big Blue.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
That looks like instant death.
It is actually. I've jumped down that before. I think this is sort of where the cave system has gotten to. At least I think in this one.
Shiny.
Nice.
If you go into the woods though, there's a whole ice rink and like I think a snowman chases you. A bit of poking around. But it is epic, and there's so many level links, and it goes to so many different places. I'm so impressed by the sheer like size of.
It really answers the
treasure
question
hunts, you know,
of,
like hide
cool.
stuff in these worlds. They're so big.
and it really answers the question of like 'cause people have asked, you know, oh, can you make really big worlds? And you can, you know, if you like create lots of separate places like
Yeah.
this and link it together.
And it takes
And that
like nearly no
transition,
time
the
at
leveling
all.
transition's really quick. So
Oh, signposts and everything.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
really
I'm going
This
cool.
makes me want to get out
explore
pen
this
and paper
later.
and start mapping
Yeah.
Yeah.
old school stuff.
Well, it's in our collection, so anybody can go in and explore, and
Nice.
really well
Cool.
done.
I like that.
Very cool.
Nice.
Really good.
Cool. Okay, John.
There's one I really like this blew everyone away when I saw it. We were talking about it. We've got
yeah.
like a work chat up for like covering the beta, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, have you seen this? Whoa!"
And it's from the creator of Book of the Dragon.
Yes.
From a couple of streams ago, I think.
Just looks so wonderful. I mean, when you look at that, Alex, like from an engine point of view, can you see how it was done? Like,
I saw it on the telly downstairs and I was like, is that 3D? I think there's a bit of sculpting and he's like using all the different elements, isn't he?
it's really good.
It's really clever.
Very impressed with that one. And there's a nice little readme about how they're going to make this level him and his wife,
His
which is
wife,
really
yeah.
cool. So, I love that.
Fantastic work.
Well done, guys.
Really cool.
Excellent work.
Very impressive.
Like that.
Yeah. Golf clap.
Yes. Bravo. What? Yes.
So speaking of like people's like art and sketchbooks, we put this in. I just thought this was so cool that someone had sort of found a way in it to sort of display their sketches and art.
No way.
And so I just and they're like definitely using the mirror tool to like
Nice.
do sketches. I just thought it was a clever way of showing people your art and stuff. Just have like a little book, and obviously like
That's
Book of the
really
Dragon
nice.
is the really ambitious version of that.
Yeah, but there's bits, that's how you start, isn't it? You
Exactly.
build up and build up. I love it.
So I thought that was a cool thing to.
It's very
Spider
cool.
drummer.
Spider drummer, I
Good
like
work.
it.
Yeah, well done.
A spider would be quite good at drumming, right? It'd be like it's just all the legs.
Yeah.
All the legs. 3 drum kits.
And because that was so short, I'm going to show another.
Oh yeah, another one of our
Well, we have our
bugs.
Bugs theme on this week.
so cool.
And
Nice creepy crawlies.
Tails.
just look how what a great
these little
stag beetle that
mandibles.
is.
Is that a stag beetle, is it?
It was called stag beetle, so I'm assuming that
Okay,
they're
yeah. Oh, it's
correct,
okay, yeah.
Looks
I
like
didn't
stag
see
beetle.
that.
about their entomology. So
Cool.
you know,
Stag
Scale.
beetles are cool.
good stag beetle. Well done.
Lovely.
You get a like. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Back to Steve.
Yeah.
Have you chosen one beforehand, Steve? Don't say the encounter.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's try this one.
Alien thirst.
That looks slightly terrifying.
So this is from one of our animators, I believe. It's Pablo.
Oh, this is Pablo. Okay.
Yeah, this is an MM
Nice.
animator.
I'm slightly disappointed there's no animation. Just go for
Yeah,
it.
for an animator, it's lazy.
Beautiful composition though.
Yeah.
Lovely colour choices.
Really
Teal and
good.
orange.
You know, maybe he'll update it. Maybe this is a work in progress.
Yeah. I'm gonna go down and have words.
You're anim shaming him. Look.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh yeah, I'll go for it.
Ed.
Who's it?
Oh, Ed, sorry man, there you go. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Ed, have a go.
Have
Sorry.
we looked at any of these characters?
Yeah, well,
No, we haven't shown him. I think
Yeah,
show a
go.
bunch of characters.
So I thought this was really good.
Oh, that's
cool.
lovely.
The blinking and the cool world kind of, and lots of detail on the clothing.
Yeah.
Characters are hard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is great because I mean, as the community builds more characters, everyone will be able to use them and benefit from them.
Yeah.
It's just
Yep.
so cool. So much talent in the Dreamiverse.
Already.
It's
Already. It's
I'd be interested to know if this person has built her with like an adventure in mind, or whether it's just a bit of practice, or where it's going. But
Work
Yeah.
in progress.
really cool.
love that
good
one.
job.
Very
and while
cool.
we're here, should we look at another one?
Dancing
Yep.
dog, go for
Do
it.
it.
Love that. Oh yeah.
I love the mouth action. Wow, some good fingers as well, yeah.
Dancers like John.
Yep. That's the reference.
This is one of those ones I was alerted to by hysterical laughter. What is
That's
everyone laughing at?
That's camera work as well.
It really goes to show like how much just a few different mouth shapes and like eyebrows and stuff adds to it.
Yeah.
And those vocal shots are really fun instruments to
that's
play.
fun to play.
It's like, that's really good.
Booty shot.
Nice.
It's a cool track.
That is very cool.
great character.
Trico, well done.
Good work.
What should we go with? Oh, should we have perhaps the Katana Showcase?
Do it.
Wow. Bit of sword action. Wow.
And then Tom Dalloway can ruin this for us by what he told us earlier.
You guys
But
say?
then Mark had a good comeback. So I just said it's round the wrong way. But then Mark said, but it's in the middle of the room. So it's not round the wrong way at all.
What?
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 The reason you have it round with the handle on the left is because if somebody comes into your house, get it on the right, it's really easy to grab and slay them. If you have it on the left, it's more polite. It's like, it's more difficult for me to draw my sword.
But then the guest can murder the host.
Well, no, it's the same direction for both of you, isn't
Okay, they both come in the front
That would
door.
be if it were against the wall or something.
Yeah,
Have it in the middle of the
In
room.
the middle of the room, doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
really
matter. Yeah,
matter.
right, fair enough.
And then you're able to.
How do you know about slaying
explore.
people with katanas, Tom?
Years of ninja training.
Got ya.
Oh, makes sense.
Got ya, does make sense.
There we are.
Wow.
Look at the detail.
I love the shiny
Oh,
blade.
Yeah.
little,
I like the art. The
Deets.
this here,
Wow.
So nice.
crazy.
and then up here like that.
Wow.
It's lovely.
And yeah, carving details into sculpts like that doesn't cost very much
Yeah.
on your thermometer.
Basically, a
So-
cube is about as expensive as a really detailed sword
exactly.
shape.
So just go to town on those details. It can make your loading time a little longer, but once it's loaded, it's the same price as a cube. So I love that detail's in there. Well done. Fantastic work.
Very nice.
Work. Boost. Four.
Love it.
Thomas.
Let's go down here. What's all this then? Robo-P.
Robot.
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 Robo-P.
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 I see what you're saying now. I was thinking, Tom, have you gone crazy?
Maybe.
I get it.
R-O-B-O-P. Alright, what's going on here?
Oh wow.
I am Robo-P.
The wing shapes.
If this person's in the chat, I want them to clarify whether it's Robot or Robo-P.
I think it's probably
Yeah.
Robot.
Yeah.
Because it's about dancing in robots. we
Yeah,
assume
exactly.
it's- Yeah.
Ooh.
Show the shape.
Ba-da-ba.
Oh, you want
Bop.
to try?
Yes, I do.
You want to try?
I would like to try.
Your
Yes.
character nods.
Yes.
Nod. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
They're using the FM there.
Are they?
Oh, so you could
Quite
use.
good.
Maybe ring modulator.
Nice.
Oh, you get the. Oh no.
All the robots can dance, but not you. You have to learn.
Absolutely, you're actually able to join them in the dancing. So if you go up to the robot that was telling you to dance,
Yeah.
chat to him. And then if you L2 and square.
Square.
L2 and square.
Oh, if you just
He's nodding.
So you're nodding. Wait for it.
Oh, I'm going to hold it longer.
Yeah, wait for it. Okay.
Okay, good. Follow the moves.
There you go. So you get the.
Oh.
So you got to do what they're doing.
Can you turn the camera a tiny bit?
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
Oh no! Oh no!
What's going on? I'm
No.
pressing all the buttons now.
Nope.
No, not that one. That one.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hands up, one hand flat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now you're
Cute.
jamming.
Dancing.
Ah, you got the rhythm.
Ah.
Very cool.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
That's the life lesson, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know
Alright,
moves.
to the next.
Hey.
Yay, good job.
I noticed this as
Yeah, go for it.
Tom swang by. That looks good. It's up
Oh,
my
this
street.
is Stu.
I love this kind of stuff. Abandoned industrial circus. Ooh, what a start again.
Got a menu.
We really enjoy your videos, Stu. They're very thoughtful. You've been making YouTube videos deconstructing previous streams and very
yes,
helpful.
yes.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Give a round of applause for the videos then.
Yeah, and the level.
And the level.
Nice rusty bolts up there. That's good.
When you were a builder, John, you wouldn't have said nice rusty bolts up there. You'd have been like,
Yeah, how far you've come.
Wow.
Nice shiny sphere.
Nice use of light here, shining through the grey.
all those bit of gobo action.
I really like that fence, that chain link fence.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
I was looking at just the separate asset for that earlier. It's just really well done.
This would be.
There's one with a door too that other people can use. I think it was remixable.
Imagine if there's some button you click and suddenly it kind of becomes, sort of, all the lights go out and it's just strobes and nightmare.
I assume it's going to burn me to death.
But there's only one way to find out, John.
Clean you up.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, hey.
Cool.
Oh, watch out! Ah, smack.
Nice.
That's really
Really cool.
Very nice.
Cool.
Well done.
Stu.
Okay. Not so Dark Swamp. Let's play you.
Good
This has
name.
got a piece of music by Bogdan in it, actually. Piece of his.
Oh yeah, we just really like this environment.
It's gorgeous.
Butterflies.
Mangrovey.
Oh, butterflies and mushrooms.
Starfish. Oh.
Just
Good job, it's not deep water.
It's alright.
That's really nice. Great text.
Seems like the environments in Dreams are either mega apocalyptic or really lovely.
Gorgeous. Where am I going?
So I might be completely wrong, but this feels like one of the very first Dreams that I played in the beta. I think this might be like an update of.
Oh, that's
Because
very
I remember being
possible.
very dark, and there was like the same path that lit.
And now it's not so dark.
Now it's not so dark.
Maybe.
I might be just too similar Dream, but it's very cool.
Yeah.
it's probably a dark swamp.
It probably is.
Now there's a not so dark swamp.
If any other small. Oh yeah, we should show this. This is very cute.
Oh, the little walk.
The teddy bear.
I love the little heart.
That's such a cute.
This was actually made by a friend of mine as well called Cola. So I'm going to say, well done, Cola, hello.
Yeah, well done. This is super cute.
So cute.
Is Cola a bear fan?
Yes. Cola loves knitting stuff and is always knitting us like cool presents and with little bear ears on, which is amazing.
Oh, this one. Oh, you've done that one.
No, we haven't done
No, although I think that one
It
was
was
used
featured at the
in
end,
one of
yeah.
the other ones, so you
Yeah,
can show it.
have
So
a
you
look at
actually
it,
saw
yeah.
it at the end of the Robotic Uprising, I think.
Oh yeah, when the
Go for it, Steve.
terrifying
Yeah, go
end
for it.
shot. Yes.
This one has some cool functions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good and stompy.
My favourite one is the that one.
Chuckle menacingly.
That's great.
Terrifying.
Every good enemy has to have a chuckle button
The
now.
eye blinking is last night.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
Bullet hell.
Very cool.
Nice.
awesome.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Like,
Well done.
do like.
Do another one.
Oh, yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, show a couple. When we have some more like sculpts and characters, we want to go through
Who's that
those.
lady on the
Spider
bottom
looks good.
on the leftmost lady?
That one.
Yeah, leftmost lady.
Yeah. Oh, we showed another character from the same creator
Wow.
earlier. They've been just really well sculpted.
It's really good.
Really pretty.
Really nice.
Gorgeous.
Because getting those kind of smooth curves and sort of organic feel that Kareem's talking about in the stream is
Yep.
it's really cool.
Yep. It's amazing to see people doing sculpture. What
You
they
wanted to
come
just
up
wake up,
with. Yeah.
or maybe she'd be
I'd love to see
chill.
somebody animate.
Yeah,
on
she'd
top
be
of
super
it.
chill. She'd like wait. You could do stop frame. She would work really well with stop frame. Imagine if you just sculpt. Well, it'd be like a ton of work. But wow,
So impressive.
Love the hair with the.
Yeah.
the loose. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
Cream will love that. Okay. Has Cream seen that one?
I don't know.
Oh,
We'll
we
have
need
to
to
show
We
him.
should definitely show Cream that. That's a second Tile Dove creation.
Yeah. Spider for John. Just
Oh, yeah.
for John.
And it's a jumping spider.
Although it
Oh
doesn't
God,
jump
don't
yet,
jump at
somebody
me.
needs to remix it to Jump at John.
So far, we haven't had any animated spiders, so I feel safe at the moment.
There's your homework for the stream.
Mandibles.
Oh, that's not
Packed with
great.
venom.
Oh,
Very cute and terrifying.
I wouldn't like to see that in real life. Like,
I think it'd be like tiny.
Yeah,
teeny,
it'd be
tiny,
mini.
teeny, tiny, cute.
yeah, but imagine.
Cool.
Yeah, nice.
All right, what's next?
Wait, Sharon said.
So much stuff.
Have we got any games or maps we haven't?
Totsville there.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
Totsville on the rocks.
Oh no, we did that one.
There's-
didn't we?
there's-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
Yep. Reset.
Let's hit it.
You might recognise character in this.
Oh really?
Yeah, believe it's from Senko.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From the church on the hill.
Nice.
I absolutely must have a bit of a wander.
Yeah, John,
first.
where's your voice actor?
Well, Ed started now, so he's
Okay,
done.
There's another
but-
character coming up that John can.
No,
voice act,
goddamn.
Hot Doge. One hot Doge, please.
Dot, dot, dot.
Oh, sorry, I was in my own little world. Great weather for a hot dog, wouldn't you say?
What should I say? Anything interesting happened lately?
Interesting. I think you might be looking in the wrong place. Nothing's exciting happened here for ages.
Change your tune. You were really up for your hot dogs a minute ago. The awful rumour going around recently is that awful
that-
house up on the street. The children have been chattering about a witch that lives there. Okay. Well, that it holds a secret that's only revealed when the moon is at highest in the sky.
That is relatively exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's one of those things, though. What it is, a filthy little den of squalor. And it's probably as squatters living in it. No,
I like that they picked up an accent.
I like the way you're actually trying, Ed.
It gives me the creeps. The sooner it gets condemned and demolished, the better. What should I say?
Leave.
Oh well.
Run away.
Try again.
That was awesome. All sorts of accents going on.
And then, look, it's Granny Snail.
Granny Snail.
We love Granny Snail.
Granny
Oh my, you're the one in red. Could you spare a minute?
Oh, we got
There we go.
Oh,
I think that's.
Oh, I think Ed should do all the voices now.
Yeah.
sorry to bother you, but I'm in a spot of bother, and the only person I could find was that grumpy shopkeeper. Everyone's gone super cockney now.
Skip.
Oh,
Someone typed that in with a PS4 keyboard, do you realise?
oh.
Or maybe the DS4.
Yeah.
And you just skip it for it.
I just want to get to this house with the squatters in it. Is this part of the same adventure then?
I want to know that. I want to know if
Is
this
it canon?
Yeah. What's the law here?
I don't know, they have such a beautiful...
Daytime, look, they've got a time
Or
of
is the
day.
sequel?
Nice.
Someone on the roof
Wait for
there.
that
They
moon
have
to hit the highest
Oh,
point.
look at the
environment.
shadows moving. That's
I love
great.
this little
Yeah,
town.
we need that moon to rise, man.
Oh.
Long shadow.
I'm half skipping
cool.
through it because I enjoyed the Church on the Hill so much that I sort of want to play this at home.
Yeah, you can play it at home. We just wanted to show people it's such a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
little environment. And
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Oh, look at the sun going down on the sea bit.
Does it?
No, look at yeah.
No, I mean, this does not look like an ideal place to rest. Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. Let's.
I was going to say, put yourself in the little.
Look at that sea.
Oh, here it goes. Da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, that's so. Oh, that's good work.
We're not achieving anything in this town.
No.
It's chill.
Granny Snell's waiting for her
Now
flowers.
it's midday.
Squatters need to be evicted.
Yeah. What a day.
It's a great little town.
Have you found the dodgy
Yeah.
house yet?
I wasn't listening to where it is, so no.
Up the street, isn't it?
Wow.
Nice work, Ed.
That was really cool.
Good work.
Sorry for massacring your dialogue, Flippy.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at this.
And murdering your character.
Oh my. There we go. Let's look at this.
No, we did that.
Oh, we done that. Sorry. Sorry. I must have been in
Comic
the
book
chat.
ink shading.
This
Oh,
is
yes,
so cool.
this is
Flip
cool.
did this.
So Flipbat was the guy, the person who had done this metal skull
opened that one.
last week,
Yeah.
Amongst other amazing things.
Yeah, so many amazing things.
and
Right,
maybe
so the-
inspired by the recent educational surge in dreams,
Yeah.
such as the classic order.
What have they done to do
Oh, it's a
that?
tutorial. Cool.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Ah.
Dark Horizon.
He's begging us, don't show the bugs, please don't show the bugs, please don't show the bugs. Not like this. Don't show the bugs.
What?
No, it's cool. I'm learning. How broken is the engine? Deeply broken. That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Tom, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I love
And
it.
then-
I love that they talk. The community are like teaching each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
so
really
many
cool.
lights.
Which gets next to they use some other creations from
So
other
they've actually
users.
Sorry, they've
Sorry.
sculpted their own spotlight then to show that, because you wouldn't see those in play mode.
Exactly, yeah, they've sculpted doing something.
Wow.
And then credits the other users for the.
Just
That's
so
really
cool.
cool.
So another great like way of go before and make cool stuff.
That's so cool.
Follow FlipYap's advice.
Big respect to anyone handing out the education.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tom, I think we've got a couple more.
Ah, okay.
There's into Descent at the top.
To Descent.
doesn't it?
Let's have a look. Oh, it's the top 25%.
Oh, this one was
The Robots Community Jam.
This one
I
was
think we
creeping.
chose this one because it was just somewhat terrifying also.
Yeah, it was creeping us out earlier, wasn't it?
John, you're not voice acting.
It's whoever's got the controller has to voice act it, so
No, all lies, all lies. It's just too late now.
Whoa.
This is a really cool opening animation.
gee whiz. Wow, what?
Fantastic.
Ah!
Weapons
And now you got to leg it.
Run.
And then it gets terrifying.
Leg it. Go leg it.
And you basically just run for this like this for a really long time, and it's
Run. Don't,
Oh.
No, go. See you there. Oh my God.
Corpse Dreams is in the chat. Finger guns, everyone. Hey.
What are you doing?
Where am I running?
You're dying. I mean, you've clearly
You're
fallen down
melting.
a hole.
You're
Like,
definitely dead.
There's just no death in it yet.
Oh
so
my goodness.
It's,
Ah.
Oh, I just want to quick another go. Just quickly.
Again. One more.
Running.
Oh my God.
That was super impressive, the transition from the stumbling to the sort of.
Yeah.
There's a double jump, but yeah, you got it. Nice.
you are not
Definitely going off track there.
That is so clearly not the right way.
All right. I'll stop. I'll play that later.
Like, you just turn and go the opposite direction. It's fine.
I'm
Fine.
exploring.
That does go on for much further than that.
Let's see, Strangers in
Oh, this is a
not seen
teaser.
that one yet.
Maybe you haven't seen this, but it's a teaser for like a narrative. Like I'm assuming that it's going to be a text-based. Yeah,
Ah,
but they have little characters. It's cute.
Richie. Frank. Susie.
Sassy?
Sussy. Surely Sussy.
True.
Carl.
Hyla. All in the same place at the wrong time. It's up to you to figure out who killed Sussy before time runs out. Fully animated, 10+ endings. Discover all the secrets of strangers.
Nice.
That's cool.
That was very cool. Steve?
Do we have? Where are we at?
See, whenever I get to play it with my hand, I get free voice acting.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think we've got. If you scroll down to the bottom, I think there's a few things.
The one over there. The one over there.
If you go down to the bottom, I think we have. I think we.
Yeah. Let's show the rest of the ones that we have at the bottom. No, we've done those. Go over to the.
Oh yeah, we haven't done Chatterpoint yet.
Yep, we haven't done Chatterpoint. There you go.
Ooh.
Run away. Or let's do
Straight into the
something.
hardcore.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa.
the audio's in the controller.
Yep. There's a dodge. Dodge.
What is it?
Circle's dodge. And he does a flip. It's very cool.
Oh.
The robots theme has gone well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Put an aim as usual.
Steve's now just become really nonchalant.
Hello.
Whatevs. Oh, you can like pull them in. Doge.
Oh, cool. That's it.
Yeah, nice.
Does it transition to an over the
Yeah, no, I
shoulder?
had that one. I had a punch as well.
There you go.
Wrecked.
Oh, I got a kick. Then into super combat.
Oh, look at all these moves.
That's really cool. Nice.
That is
Big
good
deal.
kicking. Look at the animations on that. That's so cool.
Super Ninja.
Excellent work.
That was
Very
amazing.
nice.
Bravo. The bottom left one, we have that one below the bear.
That
one, yeah.
Oh no, we have seen that.
Oh, we have done. Sorry, we have. Yeah.
We haven't seen Ali, the character above the Shatterpoint that you've just played.
Yes, we did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we
Sorry,
did.
I
Yeah,
keep looking
yeah.
at the chat. I'm so sorry.
We've been.
See that one?
We did not
haven't
show
seen
animated
that.
controllable
Yeah,
hand
that one.
to show that.
What?
Imagine all the buttons to the.
Oh, so you're controlling.
So,
No.
saying this is a
No.
remix
Yeah,
of a remix.
yeah.
This person rigged the randomizer logic over Heart Factory KW's. That's Kevin from our team. Animated rig of Flip-Yap's hand. So cool.
I love the collaborations that happen. Actually, it's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Rock fingers.
I have a. Excuse me, one moment.
Are you like counting? Are they letters? You can do like all. You could spell things out. You know, in the sign language.
That's really cool.
Can you flip the bird?
Ed.
This is a family show.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
All right, I think we've got. I think we've covered everything below, and we're all to the
Have we
all
seen?
the games left.
Have we seen? What's? Are you afraid of the? Who's afraid of the dark? We've seen
No,
it.
we haven't shown that. Go ahead.
So up above the sketchbook. This one.
Super
It's got a really cool mechanic.
Oh, Lady X.
Yeah. I believe she's in the chat, so we might need to. Yeah, there she is. Everyone give finger guns.
That was fast.
Hey.
Who's afraid of the dark? Oh, I feel like I'm going to be really bad at this.
That's okay. It can't be worse than Tom was earlier.
That was really bad.
Lady Lex, which level should we choose?
Yeah, go on. Chat choose. 1, 2, 3.
Forest.
You're not Lady Lex, Tom. Waiting for it. She's gonna say. Come on.
Come on. Library.
2. Oh, in actual orders, people have gone 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, they have, haven't they? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, 3.
Lady Lex, she hasn't chosen. Oh, there you go. Whichever. Thank.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good, that helps.
Thanks. I'm going to go
Well-
dungeon.
There you
They're
go.
all brilliant.
They're all
Yeah.
They're all brilliant. All right.
Make your way to the exit. It's totally dark. Every time you bump into a spirit, it will appear, which will give out some light, and then you'll return to the start. Press R1 to place a spirit without bumping, but this will lose 10 seconds of your time, sending you back. Oh, this is
It's a cool
complicated.
concept. No, it's not.
It's once
actually
you start
really,
going,
yeah,
it's quite easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just basically start running and you'll get it. As soon as you run
Running.
forward,
Okay,
you'll get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh my God.
Now, okay. Now keep running. And they last forever, the glow bits. So now
Is
just
the idea to try and...
yeah, navigate your way out of the dungeon. So try not to bump into things.
Oh,
So you
Really
bump, you
hit
sort of leave a light for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you
I thought it was open the wrong way.
Very
great
cool.
mechanic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
What was it?
Oh,
Please be quiet. You're in the library, aren't you?
yeah. I thought it was a dungeon.
No.
Wow, this
Well,
level's
some people may.
library.
This is the library of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Managed to go
Tom basically left like a whole string of himself of his outline and like kept popping back, but like there were like by the time he got to this point there were like 50 of him. It's
Great.
hilarious.
So you managed to get through that door and light somewhere up inside here.
I'm going to have to leave one there
You
because...
have to,
You can't see.
Yeah. This is a really cool mechanic.
It is really cool.
Nice.
How did you manage to get in here and then run really far
I
with
got... Yeah, I know. You must have got...
Got luck.
super lucky?
It was luck. And it's a really lovely visual as well when you see like these little ghosts of yourself.
Oh, careful. Look at how did you get all the way down there
Work.
blindly?
Little ninja.
That is ridiculous.
Now I've got to do it each time. Oh, look, there's a...
I think
Oh,
it's
is it
going to be
going
a
to
trap.
straight line? Is it
isn't
going
it?
straight line? Oh, it's tense. Oh, pillar.
It could be little designer could be such a troll.
Yeah.
So
Such a
I'm
troll.
totally gonna put a pillar right here.
Oh,
Oh
I need
my!
to...
Oh, yeah. No.
Did you write the music, Lady Lex? Did you find it?
Either way, it's cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice track, yeah.
This is so awesome.
out. Oh,
Big a party game.
Trick.
yeah.
Oh,
That's great.
yes, and she sang.
Hey.
Oh, really?
That's her
your voice.
thing.
Oh wow.
Good job.
Well done.
Oh, very cool.
Good voice.
Really
It's
good.
so awesome.
Excellent. I think. Let me have a look.
And just quickly, I actually have an update on codes.
Oh, precious.
Okay, I can just read the statement that was provided to me. Hi, we're aware of the beta code distribution issues affecting some eligible users. This is for the EU, by the way. We've investigated the issue, and customer service will be manually redeeming codes for those affected and eligible. You'll then receive a message on your PlayStation tomorrow, Friday, confirming your inclusion within the beta. And to reiterate, in order to be eligible for the beta, you must be at least 18 years of age, have a valid PSN, registered to either registered to SIEE, because this is Europe, and have entered the correct details in your sign-up process. Failure to comply with any of the above will mean you are not eligible at this time. Failure to comply is really... but that is good news. So if you are eligible and you have not received a code yet, and you're in Europe, you will get one. You'll just get the...
They magically apply.
yeah, you'll get a
for
message
you.
on PlayStation. They
Yeah.
will apply it for you, and you can just log into PlayStation tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. That is information I'm still waiting on. So we'll make sure that Tom updates you on social channels. And
Doing it now. Doing it now.
Great, fabulous.
And
okay,
thanks for
cool.
bearing with us
And thanks
over the
for bearing with
troubles.
us.
Yeah.
And thank you to the people who are redeeming the codes onto the PS4s.
Yeah.
who are
Manually
doing that.
redeeming.
That's- Yeah, good stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
so-
yeah, there you go.
Go, Tom. Let's do
Cool.
the things.
Well, like social.
So what have we not done
How
yet?
can you
Have
follow
we
Who's
done
Afraid of
Head
the Dark?
Plant
That was
5-minute
just
short
good.
film?
No, we haven't.
Head plants.
So we put this in there. We don't have to play through the whole thing, but I think what's really cool about this user is he's been doing all of these stories. He has a couple of them, and he narrates them all. And it's just like he builds these little scenes around them, but they're really just narrative experiences that he
Cool.
like reads stories. Very cool.
It sounds simple enough. Then again, who or what am I to give advice?
I can't wait to see
I'm
sort
only a
of fully fledged
300-year-old head myself.
films, you know, like really long
Come on,
ones with
Dad,
so much
why
It's
do
going to
you
be
need
so
to
great.
freeze your entire body? By the time you can be cured, they could put your head on a clone body one.
Head in a jar.
Yeah, like so you become like so he's talking about like sort of how he became a head in a jar and sort of what and like that was like 300 years in the past and now he's in the future and he's basically like a pet in someone's apartment.
Love the fluffy bunny.
Yeah, the fluffy bunny is incredibly
That was
cute.
their other pet. I mean, no, I don't know. I'm making up stuff about this story.
Very cool.
But we just thought it was really cool to show how people are using dreams really differently to sort of
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
animate out their
definitely.
stories or add to written work.
Let's
Very
see,
cool.
What have we not done?
I think we are
Done.
missing a couple. Hold on.
Done. Not done.
I think maybe the only one we haven't shown
Otto's Missed
is.
Adventure? Have we-
Oh yeah, we haven't shown this.
No, that was the first one we did.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
okay. Okay. Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Of course it was.
Right. Well, then I think we're
Ready
to
for
the
the last
encounter.
Yeah, I think we are. Okay, I'll hand it over to Ed for this one.
No, I think
So
Steve
let's
should play
Steve
this
should do
because
it.
Steve introduced me to it. So
Okay.
let's you do it.
Steve.
Oh,
Oh wait, we
Steve's
didn't
little
show. Wait. Hold on, wait. We didn't show apartment ETF.
Oh,
So
where's that one?
again, this is on the interior design one where people
I'll
have
do this
just
one, you
made
do the
like
encounter.
cool.
I got confused between this one and the other.
Well, I just I like that people are making scenes that other people can use or.
Interactive.
Like-
That's a nice apartment.
There's no bathroom in this apartment.
That
That's
is
that's
worrying.
Could you imagine
concern.
playing like a
I think that's the
micro-
door, or that's the
The
front door,
bathroom
or the
will
bathroom.
be-
We
yeah,
don't
okay,
know
yeah.
because otherwise it needs a front door. Just my.
I do love the mezzanine.
Yeah, but it's a really cute apartment, and I love that people are doing this kind of stuff.
Cute.
I like
Oh look, they're
dreams.
testing paint samples on the wall.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, duck yolk
This
yellow.
may be someone who's going through like a home redesign, apartment redesign.
Nice drawers,
cool as well,
baskets. That's
Yeah,
so
well
good.
done.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, cool.
Ooh.
I like the couch.
That's great. Cool. There you go.
Like that.
All right,
Like
well done.
Well,
And then the encounter.
So I believe this person was a creator on LBP, right? Steve?
Yeah, it's made a lot of great levels on LVP as well.
Exciting.
It's good to see that. It's kind of the first major thing you're kind of doing for that project. So it's nice to see has the use of modules in it, which make a huge level, but still retain a lot of detail.
Wow.
In this case, you're getting
So atmospheric.
So people might be wondering how they've made something so big but retain the detail. And like Steve said, is using the modules and cloning them means that your memory usage doesn't go up much. So you can make great big things like this, as long as you're clever with reusing the same thing for different shapes and panels and parts.
And if you use the same sculpts in the next level, the transitions are quicker. So even if you need to split with a level link.
Pro tip.
I love the little. Yes, I am doing the things.
That's about how fast I type.
So much detail, not just the sculpt detail, just the
This is so good.
composition of the actual sort of architectural design. Really,
Feels like a real space.
yeah, it does.
And did you notice the little Easter eggy? The password was Olympic banana. Why would it be that?
Hey! Plus 10 points.
For MM knowledge.
MM knowledge, yeah, wow.
I love looking outside as well, and the sun and the moon out there.
So well lit. The light on the robot that's following you around as well that illuminates some of the darker areas as you go to some of these corners.
Moody.
Yeah.
We've got the TV down really low, so we can't appreciate the sound design, but it sounds like there's a lot of effort's gone into that as well. You guys can probably hear it.
Scratching his head.
That's so cute.
Nervous robot. Come on, press it. Do it.
That one.
Don't.
So all you can hear is this, and then the sound of Tom typing.
I'm sorry. I'm answering people's questions.
So I wonder what just came through that door then.
Did they record the robot voices with like?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so. That is exactly how I would make robot voices.
I like they've managed to get the little robot who's following you follow you so well and not get stuck anywhere. It's really good. You know, the AI is really good.
Someone made a pathfinding level. That was pretty crazy. You seen that, John?
I haven't seen
We
it.
should put that on.
Oh,
next
or
week.
like one of the tower defense ones.
Yeah, but it was like a almost a tutorial. Showed you how
Oh,
it was done.
nice. Okay.
Send it to us for the stream next week. We'll show it.
Sorry. Yes, should have done that.
That's cool. Look at the outside the landing bay. That's really cool. And again, it looks like another great use of the text
Hang on,
gadget there to make a shield.
Are we still in the
Same level, yeah. We haven't leveled
Yeah.
it anyway.
Okay, that's bonkers.
It was kind of impressive.
It's good use of the modular bits.
Like
Did you see
where you,
yeah.
yeah, it's the
Really cool.
size of the planet.
I can believe how smoothly this was running. I know I have absolute faith in the engine, but like, that's
Clearly not.
Like,
That's cool.
Very good.
Some ship over here as well.
So for those of you that know the SIGGRAPH talk about the engine, the bubble bath engine, we've actually gone back to the Bricks engine for hard edge stuff. So this level is mostly using the Bricks engine, which we said in that talk we weren't going to use, but we are, because Simon resurrected it so that we could do these kind of mech hard edge stuff, but with a really crisp look. And yeah.
So it's two engines in one.
It's
What? What?
Together.
bubble
Yeah.
brick.
Bubble brick.
Bubble bricks, yeah. It's yeah.
That sounds like a terrible idea as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's better than brick bath. Come
The
on.
worst bath ever.
That sounds like some sort of mobster. Like, you're gonna get a brick bath, mate.
You don't want that. Amazing. Well, that's
So,
very...
what's this person planning for this level? Have they got? Is it going to be narrative, or is it going to be like? Do we know?
We'll see if
Don't
they're in
know.
the. Yeah.
We don't know. We'll
If
find
you're
out.
in-
If you're in the chat, let us know.
It could go so many ways, couldn't it? You could do all sorts of. You could do an arena shooter thing. You could do
All kinds of stuff.
all kinds of stuff.
I
Yeah.
think the hangar bay is going to open and there's going to be a banana party. And then that will be it.
Nice.
Olympic
Well
banana.
done. That was great.
All right. Well, that is that's the end of everything that we had in the collection for this week. So let's publish that so that everybody can go check out everything in it, play along at home.
Oh no, I've gone wrong. I'm so sorry.
Have you dreamed before?
It is now available for people to play.
Okay. Amazing. So that said, now we're going to move on to the teaching part of the stream.
Teaching.
Yeah, teaching.
So we've got to get Ed in here somehow.
Ed, swap me.
All right, someone's going to have to swap Ed in.
I do need some headphones, but I don't know if we have headphones.
Lisa, do we have headphones?
It's those ones. Yeah. They're not from the mixer. I'll take these.
Okay.
That's all right.
Just doing a scene change.
Did everyone make some music?
I know, you were doing the melody, I started and then it changed out, so okay, let's go back to you can do the melody, Tom.
And now we're... Oh, no, I'll keep going.
I'm just trying to find Ed some headphones. For anyone who's just tuning in now.
We're Media Molecule.
Take it away, Ed.
This is our game. Games.
And now Ed's going to show you how to make
let Ed
sounds
sit there so
in-game.
you can Ed and get closer into the middle.
Cool.
There seems to not be a lot of love for our musical interlude.
Why?
There you go.
Ed,
Hey.
you can take the phones out and make sure you can hear yourself.
Oh, that might be all right.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
So in the meantime, if anybody missed the update about EU
Non-branded chocolates.
my God, just chaos.
Oh, candy. Quick.
Oh, now we're
Sugar,
candy.
sugar.
So no code
Sugar.
update, just candy.
Keep going, guys. Stephen,
Thank you.
I'll go with
I don't even know. I'm American, and these are all.
Penguins.
I don't know which one I should prefer.
I'm going to balance this one on Ed's shoulder.
There we go. A bit like Tim Tam.
Tim Tams are amazing.
It's not as good as a Tim Tam.
It's close.
Oh well, now you've just offended every.
Australian?
No,
I said
they've
Tim Tams are
complimented
better.
every Australian.
Oh, really? Oh.
Okay, vote Tim Tams or
Wait,
Penguin.
back to the code thing. So, if you were eligible and not receive your EU code, they're just going to make that happen on your PlayStation account tomorrow. You'll get a message from PlayStation, and you won't need to get an email. So that's tomorrow. We don't know what time yet. Tom is going to update on social media so that all the details are there. I don't have a US update right now, just EU. Bear with us. Thank you for your patience. Great things.
Great things.
Go Ed.
Hello.
Fake Tim Tams.
Seeing as we had a robot jam a couple of weeks ago, and we just saw an amazing array of robots, I thought we would use the example of making a robot voice to show you some of the more advanced features of our sound gadgets. And Alex has run away, even though he wrote most of this stuff, so I think you should come back and give us a hand with this. Yeah, cool. So, as we just saw was that the Encounter? That had someone making a robot with their mouth. I thought it was really cool, so I thought I'd do the same sort of thing, and we'll sort of elaborate on it.
Show some pro tips.
Yeah, pro tips. In the sound mode, we'll start by recording, like, a little bit of robotic
Chatter.
inputs. So I'll do it whistling, because that's probably the easiest way to do this.
It's great. Go get Ed's face right up on the camera.
Sorry, people.
Get closer, Ed. Get closer.
We're doing for Ed again.
Hang on, just quiet, people. Pretty good, right?
He said about his own whistling.
So that's pretty obvious, pretty rubbish, and it's not going to pass as a robot. So what I think we'll do is just tweak that sound and use every tweak.
Just if you're wondering why we're not reacting to it, now Ed's got the headphones, we can't hear it at all. So we're just going to assume it sounds really cool as Ed's doing
We could turn the telly up a little bit if you can.
No, I think it's because you've got the headphones into it now.
Is it on the stream? Can the stream hear it?
Yeah.
You can hear it? Okay, cool.
Good.
So the first thing you'll notice about our sounds is that we have different tweak sliders to every other tweak slider.
Yeah, they're a little bit different.
A little bit different. And
Take that back, they can't hear
you can't hear it?
No, because the output's now only to
Oh no, you can't hear this.
Yeah. Only you can hear it, Ed.
Only you can hear it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I can hear it enough. So
They're
that's
saying that we need to do the sounds.
sorry, folks, we didn't test this. So yeah, I was saying these
BMM
sliders.
story.
These sliders look a little bit different to other sliders in that they've got these sort of two nodule bits, and that means they can two cheeks. And what you can do is split those apart. Alex, you devil. And that means what we've done is randomized the value of that slider. So instead of being actually just 80%, it now is somewhere between 57%.
Ed, how did you split that apart then?
And you use the shift button for that.
Are you
So
going to
now-
go spicy as well?
I'm going to go everywhere.
Oh my goodness me.
So yeah, now you see like the little line in here. You can see that every time the sound is activated, we're getting a random volume. Now, pretty much every slider in this whole tweak menu can be randomized. So whenever you're adding your own sound effects, always add some pitch variation. That always gives you a little bit more sort of like randomness.
Would you recommend a range of pitch variation?
You don't need much. I mean, normally I'll do all of the fine pitch and then maybe like a few semitones there.
Okay.
But I'll come back to pitch in just a second. So now, what I'm going to do is leave that about there and use randomization on the start time offset. Now what that does is that you'll notice that each time I play the sound, it's starting from the very beginning of the sound. Which is hell annoying, right? So if I randomize that, you can see that we're starting from a different point in the recording each time. Cool. So the next one I'm going to use is slice playback mode, and I'm going to change that to be ping pong. So when it gets to the end of the recording, it's just going to play backwards. Which is good for a robot because we don't care what it's doing. Now I'm going to make it into an instrument. And the only difference there really is that as I go up the buttons, it will actually pitch it upwards. So in here I can get a little bit more sort of performability out of it. It's now actually an instrument. Then going back to the top, we've got this thing called the ADSR, which allows us to add fade-ins or fade-outs. Because this is a robot and it's very sort of like chirpy, we want it to have no fade-out. So it's like instantly sort of it stops playing as soon as I release the key, it stops playing. And that's pretty much all we're going to do on this page. Next thing what I'm going to do is talk about spiciness, which Alex just mentioned earlier. What spiciness allows you to do is, as L1 allows you to split the slider in two like that, spiciness allows you to add a controllability to each of these sliders. So now you can see as I'm using L2 on the DualShock, I'm actually controlling that pitch. So instead of just setting it at -24, this instrument is now controllable on the pitch.
So the reason this is cool, I think, is the background is this. We wanted Dreams to feel like puppeteering, and we sort of took that idea into instruments. And you might have used instruments that Ed set up for you in the beta, and some of them are really fun to play. And if you try pulling the L2, we were like, what should we call the L2 thing? Because it could be anything. And we're like, well, let's make it so that it just makes the sound more spicy or interesting. And the point is, using these techniques that Ed's teaching you, you can choose what the L2 button does to your sound and just add a bit of spice to it, so that when you're performing and puppeteering, it's like you've got an extra kind of degree of performance that you can bring to your sound. So that's the sort of reason that we've done the spicy thing, and it's every single slider can be morphed. So if Ed, just on the single page, just for the visual impact, probably not the audio impact, but if you move a bunch of them, they'll all move at the same time. So yeah, that's spicy.
How did you actually do it then, Ed? Because you used L1 to split it.
That's right. So L1 is add randomization and L2 is add spiciness. So
And
all
you
you
can
need
even
is
have randomized different spiciness, so you can have like that's just silly, but yeah, it's true.
So anything that you see the special audio slider, it means you can add randomization, and you can pretty much spicy everything as well, right? So I'm going to skip these pages because that's just about where it's positioned in the world for now. We'll add a bit of reverb. As you can see, like the first reverb is designated as a reverb for music, which means it's like a cathedral. It's very big and boomy. Because it's a robot, it's going to be in a game world, so I'm just going to put it to reverb channel C, and we'll probably.
Should we tell them about the impulse responses?
Yeah, I think so, but not now. We'll come back to that. So with reverb channel C, it's sounding like it's in the world, and you don't need much. So about that.
Just a bit of reverb makes it sound like your space is real. You know,
Yep.
it's not synth anymore, it's something.
something. Yeah. I'm going to come back to granular synthesis because I think that's probably
That's bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Definitely.
Stream B.
No, in a minute.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go bold. I love this.
The next thing I would do is actually like EQ a little bit because we've got traffic outside, we've got like low rumble from the room, so I'm just going to cut off those low frequencies because we know it's just a whistle.
This is like the thing in your 80s stereo that you had, where you're like, right, scoop the mids,
Yep.
all that. This is the opposite, scooping the
And you
mids.
can spice it that way.
Whoa.
You don't need to, but I mean,
Yeah, why not?
why not?
Live the dream. I
Then,
think, how do you change the width? No one knows, even side medium ultra.
yeah.
Forgetting.
so a very important part of these little bands is that being able to change the width of those gives you more control over the bands of the EQ. And you do that again by holding shift and then grabbing the band and moving it left and right.
Yeah.
There we go, that's making it a very finer sort of point there. Cool. I can't really hear what that sounds like on this TV, so I'm just going to guess. I'm going to add a bit of distortion, but not much. Just a little bit of clipping to make it sound like it's a machine. Then we can do this some more filtering, and filtering is a bit like EQ,
Yeah.
but we're using this to basically roll off some of the high frequencies and add a little notch of resonance. So I think I'll spicy where the resonant notch is. So that should be screaming on
It's a
people's...
sort of record scratchy vibe.
Yeah. Cool. What next? Oh yeah, let's go to granular. So in the granular synthesis tab, this does require a little bit of explanation, but not much. All really here is when you switch it on, you notice that time stretch goes to 25%, which means we're sort of freezing the sound. If you put it at 0, you'll notice that the sound basically stops.
Somebody answer the phone.
So what I want to do is spicy that down to maybe that. So as I control spiciness, we're freezing the sound.
Nice.
And granular synthesis is basically built on this process, this idea that the sound is like broken up into these tiny little chunks, grains, and we can control the rate at which they're played back.
The reason I love the granular synth for Dreams is its exact equivalent, the paint splats, the flex.
Yep.
Sorry, it's basically the sound equivalent of flex. We chop the sound up into little pieces and then scatter them all over your ears. So yeah, the grains are the flex of audio, basically.
And this wonderful bit of UI allows you to change how the grains overlap. So if you just decrease that, you'll actually hear the grains having a little bit of
Give it a left slant to really hear it.
that as well.
Yeah.
You actually hear the individual grains. So it becomes like sort of chatty. But what I'm going to do again is spicy that, holding R2. So as I perform it, it will sort of freeze and do the sort of... And the final cool thing on this page is interval, and that is the gap between each individual
Yep.
grain.
And I tried to visualize this on the graph, but it looks a bit bonkers. But you'll see. Oh no, it's not working. They're meant to like change randomly their interval. Oh no, that's
Oh, no,
not
that's on the
random.
next page.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the next page.
So
Jumping ahead.
All we're doing here is actually reducing the gap
Yeah.
between the
Yeah.
grains. So if you take it all the way down here, you'll start getting this bonkers effect where they all start overlapping. It can go very, you can take it all to the extreme, but like I think just a little bit is kind of cool because you get that sort of almost telephone distortion vibe. And then I think the last thing I'd probably do for this sound is add some chorus. And this is giving the effect of multiple voices doing playing the same sound, essentially.
Oh, by the way, if you don't remember what any of these do, please have fun just moving them around. There's nothing you can break in the audio engine. Maybe your ears a little bit, but yeah, just like mess around. The people have said to us at first when inside Media Molecule, they're like, "Oh my God, 14 tabs on the tweak menu. What the hell?" Which is true. But then you mess with it and you mess with it, and then an hour's passed and 2 hours have passed, and you've sort of learn by doing. So just mess with it basically. Don't worry about understanding it all, just see what it does.
And one thing you added which I really like is the ability to just turn the effect off. So each page has like a I just want to hear it without distortion or without my chorus delay effect. So it gives you like a sort of a save point.
And triangle, which is reset for any tweak, not just audio, is a really useful feature across streams. If you've messed up a tweak even on a visual one, press triangle and it'll take you home, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly
Will
right.
you publish this so people can use it?
Totally, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll hear lots of other people's robot, whatever they want to do. This applies to every sound. This is just an extreme sort of example because bots are funny. But the last thing that you need to do is to actually record these, because at the moment it's just a performable instrument. So to do that, you just punch these left and right stick together and just mash the buttons and the spiciness. And now we've got a chattery robot.
One last twist on spiciness, which I've added, and I don't know if it was a good idea because it's rarely used, but if you have spiciness, I believe you can drive it from the gadgets.
Yeah.
And even if you've performed with the spiciness, it will blend it. So you could actually have sort of the robot stress level coming out of your AI or some part of your story.
Yep.
And then feed that into the spicy slider right there that Ed was just touching. It's got a fire icon. And basically, whenever you do that, it'll push everything into the spicy end. So it'll be like, and then your one sound gets more use out of that one performance. So yeah, but
Totally.
no one ever uses that feature. So
I do.
Oh, you do?
We do, yeah, it's good.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to talk about the synthesis part as well, but leave it another time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. There's a robot voice.
Wow.
Said?
Yeah.
Publish it.
Publish. Give it a good name.
Edbot.
Edbot.
Hang on, don't you have a secret PSN name, or am I not allowed to reveal it?
No, I do. You can probably find that.
I mean, we did show his creation on the stream last week, and it is
It's
in
out
that
there.
collection.
Yeah. I am Eds-209B. If you want to follow my stuff, it won't be on this. But,
Public Ed.
Public Ed.
there you go.
Cool.
Cool. fun.
All right, John, what are you going to show?
So on the forum, as I've been traversing it last week, lots of people have been confused about joints and the grid system. So I'm going to do a bit of joint and grid tutorial stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is quickly grab the move controllers, because then I can go really fast. Not fast enough that you won't be able to see what's going on there.
Do we need more hold music?
Okay.
Some musical bunch here, aren't they?
While they're talking, isn't there in LBP3? You'll know this, Steve. Isn't there a Twitch gadget that lets like Twitch control the level?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
I know we use it. I don't know.
Hard to hear it talking.
I think it'd be quite fun to add it to Dreams at some point. I wonder whether we could, like Twitch plays Dreams, and you could have some sort of stuff in your level that like responds to the chat. It's like basically that's a question for the chat. Is that something you'd like to see in the distant future? No promises, but
Of course they're going to say yeah.
of course they're going to say yes.
That clip will now haunt you.
Yeah, that's it. Animated GIF. Do you want that? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Lol. Yes.
Yes.
There's a yes.
You've done this to yourself,
Well,
Alex.
it's got to be Twitch plays Dreams, doesn't it? Really. You can actually have levels that are just like completely.
I'm really hoping to see people do that, to like make stuff along with their own communities, like build games live.
Yeah, super cool.
John does it so well when we show stuff at PAX, and it's just really fun.
suggestions?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
just,
10-minute creatures.
Penguins.
10-minute creatures is really fun.
Yeah. Okay, so grid stuff. Here we go. There's a few interesting things about grid that people may or may not know. So let's start going through them one at a time. So I've turned the grid on, and you can see here this cube lines up nicely with the grid points. Whenever I'm working on the grid, I like to grab the things from the middle, because it means they're more likely to end up on a uniform grid position. So the way you do that is, with the moves anyway, is you can hold circle and the left trigger over the object, and you can decide where you want to hold it from. So I'm going to grab it from the middle. So now the middle is the bit that lines up on the grid, but as long as your object is also on the grid, the sides also line up, as you can see. So we can stamp one of these down. Okay, so I'm still in grid mode, but now I'm not in sculpt mode. I'm outside and I can move the block around. And you can see as you move it, this little green plumb line comes up, which shows you how you're moving it on the grid. So there I've just moved it sideways and up one, for example. And whenever you clone or copy on this particular grid, everything will line up nicely. Whenever you scale anything on the grid, it scales by a power of 2. So if I shrink it down, you can see it shrinking by powers of 2. So I can go down to 50%, and that means that will be able to end up nicely on the grid. There it's halfway. You see how, because I was holding it from the middle, But every time you zoom in with the moves, the grid goes down by half size at every point. So it's really important, if you've got something that you're like, oh, it's not quite on the grid like this, just zoom in a little bit and then you can move it and it will line up nicely on the grid.
How many steps are there between each factor of 2? Do you remember?
Oh, I think it's
Like
8 or
8,
something.
yeah.
Let's have a look. So
It's like
1,
an 8-tone whole
2,
tone scale.
3,
for the musicians
4,
out there.
4 actually. There we go.
4.
Yeah.
4-tone
Okay.
scale.
Now, sometimes when you scale it up, you scale it up from the point you grab it. So if I grab it on this corner, you can see that I'm shrinking it down. Oh, yeah, something's not quite working right there. It scales from the point you grab it like this. So sometimes that means it will end up off grid, and which has happened to this guy here sometimes. When you're like out further like this, you can see now I can't get it onto that grid. It's quite annoying. While you're holding something, if you press triangle, it will pop it back onto the currently active grid. And the reason I say currently active grid is because you can have different angles of grid. So if I get this and I move it off the grid, and you're like, oh, I need to get it back there, get a couple actually off. You can grab it, hold it, and you press triangle, and it pops it back onto that grid, which is really useful. But it's also useful because maybe I want to get something to line up with this. So instead of grabbing it, if I hold shift and triangle, which would be L1 on the DS4, or triangle on the left move or your offhand move, I can change the grid onto this. And now we can see the grid is on here, and stuff will move onto there. And I can get one of these and press triangle and move that onto there. Whoa. So whenever the grid is off, just remember, look at what the thing is you're trying to align to and use the shift triangle to align the grid. You'll see the little dots move so you know which grid you're on, which is like, this is probably the most important thing for grid work, because lots of people will get something that's slightly off grid and then later it builds up the sort of errors. So always remember to reset your grid. And if you press reline grid and you're not hovering over anything, it will go back to like the world grid. So if you want to stay on the world grid time, it's usually the most useful.
Awesome.
So that's really good for like grid stuff, like lining things up. It works for all the circles and different shapes. So if we go into here and we start sculpting other shapes, again, like I was saying, try and grab from the middle, and you can see how we can get that to line up exactly with that square. Really satisfying.
I missed the bit where you told us how to grab the point in the middle. What's the shortcut?
So on the move controllers, when you've got a shape in your hand, you hover over it with your offhand, you press shift circle and the grab button, the T button, and then with your other hand you can then press grab on it and then grab the bit you want.
And is that move only? Is there?
No, you can do it on the DS4. You've got to go into the option where you press shift and square, and then there's an option in there and it says choose where you want to align it to, and then you can choose the bit you want to align it to. And you can see why, because I've grabbed the middle here, when I shrink it down, it shrinks down perfectly in the middle of that cylinder, so every time I come out, it's always nicely on that middle point.
Trying to make it so that everything you do is possible with the DualShock or the moves, but sometimes we have to change how you get to it because the buttons are different. And I remember on Kareem's move streams, was it Sarah the Alchemist asked a question. She's like, what's the super style tool? I can't find it, and how come Kareem was using it? And that turned out to be, I didn't actually know this, it was a move only kind of mashing together of 3 other tools. And so you can still do it on the DualShock, you just have to do it bit by bit by bit. And then the move heroes like Kareem and John can just wade in and use the super styling tool to just do it in one go.
It's like the reason, because the moves have Z depth, so I can move and rotate at the same time, which is harder with the DualShock.
Sorry.
So now what I'm going to do is, this sort of leads into the joints that I was going to talk about. So I'm just going to get this object and delete most of it apart from the cylinder. Oh, actually, I'm going to start new because there's another aspect of grid that I want to quickly show you. So I'm going to go and start a brand new sculpt.
Funny thing is, I've been watching these streams from downstairs and I learn something on every stream, even though I've been working on this for 7 years.
So I've lined it up here with this like pointy out bit, don't know what we're going to call it, and I'm just going to turn on kaleidoscope, which is really useful. It's actually gone at the angle which I didn't expect.
Kaleidoscope's so fun.
And what I'm going to do is make like a car wheel or something esque.
Some shiny rims.
Some shiny rims, yeah. And I haven't rehearsed this in any way.
It could be a revolver, you know, a barrel of a.
Oh, okay, yeah. We can do that. Okay.
I don't know.
Let's go nuts.
Don't you need 6 if it's going to be a...
No, it's going to be a pentagonal revolver.
It's a 5-shooter.
It's a 5-shooter. Let's make it a 6-shooter because I just won't live it down otherwise, will I? Oh dear. Okay. There we go.
To be fair, it wasn't what you were planning to build.
No.
No, it's fine. I don't know why
always just throw stuff at John and he just rolls with it. So
Just do it.
he hasn't failed us yet. He's made some things that are kind of horrifying, but he hasn't failed us yet.
Well, hang on. What did you just do?
I just used a cylinder instead of a sphere to chop into this thing, and then I'm just going to use the stretch tool to stretch through. The stretch tool is really, really useful. It can stretch any shapes you've got, negative or
So hang on, so
positive.
you'd already plunked that shape down, and then after the fact, you mashed it down.
Yeah, exactly. Which is actually what I do most of the time. So you don't have to worry about that really careful precision placement, or you're trying to position a really long shape. Just position the short one and then stretch it out nice and long.
Science.
And let's make it nice and shiny because, there we go.
Metal.
Done. Right, now we want to line it up with this thing, so you can see we've got the nice middle bit there, so I can grab that and we can move it, and we've lined it up quite nicely with the middle of this bit. And people want to know, they've said they've had problems with, say, putting a car wheel on a car with joints and bolts. And because I imagine what they think they would have to do is kind of, if I pull this out of the way for a second, is kind of attach a joint there and then somehow attach it onto here. But
You'd think, wouldn't you?
while that's in there, it's tricky. So there's a few
totally.
ways you can do this. One, if you start with your thing out here and we go to joints, I'm going to get.
This happened to me, didn't it? We were doing joints, and then someone taught someone the joint technique, and they were like, "Oh my god, I've got to redo the whole tutorial for joints." Amazing.
So we can do it like that, but this is in the wrong place. So if I actually just turn off grid for a second, you'll see that this, as I try and move it, it's attached to that joint. It's quite nice, but it's in the wrong place. So if I put grid back on, so we can move this nicely, if you press triangle over anything that has a joint attached to it, it highlights the joint, and it means I can move the objects it's attached to. So I'm just going to move that back into where I did want it to rotate around. Turn grid off, and then you can see it's now in a nice place.
Did you know that, Ed?
I didn't, and I'm annoyed because that should have a UI sound on it.
UI sound coming soon. The other way you can do it, so I'm just going to delete that joint. And this is kind of actually the way when we were designing the joints, how I imagined them to be used, is you get a joint, and the idea is you just select the thing that you want to be the parent, and I'll explain the parent to everyone just in case that seems like nonsense.
What is
the parent? Is usually like the big thing. It's the best way to describe it. So in the case of a car and a wheel,
tired, sad thing.
the car, the car is the parent, and the wheel is the child. It usually goes from like the big thing to a small thing. Like my hand is a child of my forearm, and my forearm is a child of my upper arm, etc. And it works down like that in a hierarchy. And it's really important in Dreams. And the thing you click on first is the parent, and the thing that you go to is the child. So it's important which way you hand click this. So I want this to be the parent because I want this to spin around this thing. So you click anywhere on it at all. It doesn't matter where. It really doesn't matter anywhere. It really doesn't matter. Click anywhere you want. Just to prove it, I'm just going to click in 2 completely random places like this. And that looks like nonsense, right? Because as I turn this, it's going to be like,
That's my kind of wheel.
Yeah, it's not a very good wheel. But if you turn on X-ray, so we can see the joint going through here, and we put the grid back on, you can actually grab and move this central pivot point. And this is the only thing that this cares about, really. It doesn't care about these now they're down. I can just move that, and you can see how it's moving around. Like this is actually represents the physical construct that would be needed to make that joint a reality.
Okay.
So what you want to do is grab this and move it into the middle of this thing, right?
Yeah, you grab the pink donut.
You grab the pink donut, and you could just line this up by your hand, by your eye, like that. So it's roughly in the middle, but still not great.
Oh.
But if we go back to grid, which is what you need if you want any kind of precision, is
And
you
then
can
you
get
do
it
triangle.
and you do triangle,
Oh my God.
and it lines back up with the grid nicely.
Science.
So then we can just go and place that slap bang.
It's like you
in
were
the middle.
planning that part of the lesson.
Yeah, exactly. And you can even, if it helps you out, you can sort of scale it up to sort of see it in situ, and then we turn the grid off, and there we go. You can see that we've made it nice on the grid. So you don't have to worry about, if you've built your car and the wheels are in the right place, just click somewhere on the car body, then somewhere on the wheel, and then
Can you move the
just
yellow and
move
blue
this.
ones off? I know it
you
doesn't have
you
any
can,
effect.
absolutely. So yeah, moving it around doesn't make any difference.
Yeah,
It
but-
still rotates around that point. But importantly, while you're in joint relocation mode, you
Yeah.
can grab the end and then assign it to a different object entirely, which is really useful. But only while you can see them glowing like this, which is good. So I can like move that
Yeah.
over there and stick that on that one maybe. And then it means that bit's the bit that rotates instead of
Is this
bit.
Liam or Dave?
Dave, Liam, I'm not sure. But,
Well,
between
maybe
all of
Coach,
us, we
yeah.
kind of
The John Beach whipping
sussed it all out.
team.
Yeah. So that's like with joints, really care about this middle purple bit. It's the same exactly the same for ball joints as well. So you can grab that, you put that on there, and then you say, this is actually the bit where I want it to rotate around like that. The only exception to this is if you use a piston or a similar thing, something that's linear, because then it does just move along
Yeah.
the line of this.
So there's just no pink donut.
There's no pink donut, but you can just press triangle and move it around as you see fit to get your pistons into the right place. And this is how the puppets are moved actually under the hood. If you go into a puppet,
Yeah.
on one, John. This one here.
And we've seen some people who have added new limbs to characters by adding joints
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
sculpts that make their puppet.
Absolutely, but they won't be procedurally animated. They're
No,
just
no,
like
they'll
flop
just
and loose
flap
on.
around.
But you can see them all in here, and you can do the exact same thing. I can press triangle on there, and you can see I can wrench it apart and move it. So now the elbow is over there for whatever reason you wanted to do that.
Horror games.
Yeah, horror
Yep.
games, exactly. So yeah, joints, I hope that's demystified them a little bit. And
The answer is probably no, but can you animate with a keyframe any of that?
yeah, you can animate the joint position, so you can make shoulders shrug by changing
Yeah,
their joint.
You of all people were like, the answer is probably no,
Well,
Alex.
I love that it was yes, but I didn't want to, set him up to say, but yes.
Set up for a fail, yeah, no. So that's really good, and yeah, bear with the grid. If it's not on the grid, remember realign your grid and align the grid to the things that you want it to be aligned to.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Cool.
thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This ended up being like a super long stream this week. But we'll be, we're doing Global Game Jam this weekend. So a bunch of us will be at the office creating games around the Global Game Jam theme, which is announced tomorrow. If you want to join us in the beta, then tag your creations, Global Game Jam or GGJ. We're going to do a stream on Monday, bonus stream, showing what we make for Global Game Jam. So that should be fun. And so Tom is going to keep people posted about the code stuff for EU tomorrow on social. And so follow us there for announcements, updates, those kinds of things. And thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you learned something. Thank you, everyone, for making awesome stuff and coming on the stream. Thank you all for making awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Well done. Cool. Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.